I know I need to size up with you, and when I defang the Viper, trust me, ain't gonna come from nowhere. Jeff, I already put you out. I don't even know why you're out here right now. Keep on talking. Hey, do me a favor. Why don't you act like this is an AA meeting and you shut your mouth while I'm sharing with the group? And Mustafa, you out here, a boy among men. And I'm going to tell you what. You got lucky at the Rumble, so I know you're going to come out here and run your mouth about how bad you are. But let me give you a little bit of a reality check. You see, Mustafa, you said that my eyes don't lie. Well, your eyes don't lie either, because last week, they were closed real tight when I put your simple ass to sleep. And AJ, hey man, be honest with me. How's our old girl Wendy doing?
All right. Welcome back to the Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. It's me, Hafeez, and with me as always is Devin. And yes, we are here to talk some more AEW. Happily talk about some AEW. I got gripes with you already.
What I do?
Gripes already.
I made a graphic for the show that was heavily infused of AEW, like you requested on the last episode. So I don't want to understand what's the complaints now. What's the complaints now? What I do? What I do this time?
It's two things already. One, this title right here, 2 weeks of AEW, shaking my head. What? All right, I just want people to know I'm happy to talk about AEW, okay? One half of the Clark Street Wrestling podcast is happy to talk about AEW. That's one. Two, now in the new intro, it says, sometimes AEW. The disrespect. Unnecessary, sir. Unnecessary.
I'm just speaking about the show. Sometimes we talk about AEW. It's not every week that we get in. We talk about exclusive episodes of AEW. It just so happens to fall in line like that right now. But that's just not a common occurrence. Not on the Clark Street Wrestling show.
Well, I'm going to make it so. We're going to talk about AEW every week. Get used to it. Get used to it. Buckle up. Every week. Oh, man. But yes, we are talking AEW. We're starting things off with AEW Revolution, and then we're going to get into some WWE, talk about what's going on the road to WrestleMania. But first, you had some housekeeping you wanted to do?
Yes. First, right there. Shield Brother, first on the list. Happy birthday to Shield Brother, South Philly Psycho, a.k.a. the Lunatic Fringe, a podcast at Dom. Our Shield Brother right there. We got you, man. Happy birthday, man. Happy you're having a good time. You had an awesome show, by the way, so catch it on the Bloodline Network, by the way, which is a good segue. You know, we had a phenomenal pre-launch party, had a phenomenal watch-along party. Thank you, brother, for coming through. People were surprised. They always ask for your presence, and we brought you along. We had a great intro. We was like, It was fun. It was a great time. So catch it out on the Bloodline Network. All right. And that is our new channel, by the way, that we're presented right here, up here, right there. Presented by the Bloodline Entertainment Network. Okay, for the Clark Street Wrestling Podcast going forward. So get them ones up for the Bloodline, all right? And don't forget to catch out for the new shows tomorrow, starting with Roto Slappers. We got Streets and TK discussing. I think they're going to go over a little bit of fantasy football, which is cool because we said we're going to talk about sports, all right? And I can't forget about Ivan, Bakley, and TK as well, Tim King. All right, from the Tim King Show, going to be talking about some New Japan Weekly. All right, new show on the Bloodline Entertainment Network. Okay, all right. So yeah, just want to get that plug in because we are part of a network, a bloodline.
Oh man! All right. Well, back to AEW. We're gonna talk some AEW. We're gonna talk some Revolution. Yes, we did do a watch along. You know, I came in about maybe a little bit more than halfway through the show, and
like an hour and a half.
Finished it up. Yeah, like the last 3 or 4 matches I saw with you guys, and then I went back and I watched the whole thing from beginning to end. So I'm able to, give a full synopsis, a full recap from my point of view
Okay.
To really get people caught up. If you saw the watch along, you're wondering, hey, what did I think about some of the early matches that I didn't get to see? I'm gonna share that here with you, and we're gonna go over all of them just in general too, just to talk about them and finally come up with a final grade for what this is. We'll see if Devin has a change in his grade or not, if it's lower than it was before, because Devin, I don't know, he's not going higher. If anything, it's going lower. So this dude, I don't know.
Could I go higher?
AEW, the resident AEW hater over here.
Maybe. Why you gotta assume like that?
I already know.
All right?
I already know.
This,
the hate is real.
Look at this.
Okay?
Get him, Messiah.
Get him.
Real. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at the hate on me.
You already know.
The hate is real on me.
The hate is real.
All I do is just speak my truth about AEW, and the hate comes to me.
Shaking my head. You couldn't even say that we're gonna talk about AEW with some kind of positivity. You had to put shaking my head.
It's AEW. It's not the
Let's get to it. Let's get to the concept
right now.
We're gonna go in order of the matches as they happen. I did not see, even though I went back, I did not see the buy-in. So this early match, 6-man tag team match is not on here. Mark Briscoe, Lucha Bros, let's see, defeated. They went against Ari Daivari and the Varsity Athletes. So it looks like Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Bros win. Did not see that match. Now I'm seeing it here that I probably want to go back and at least just check that out because I'm sure that was entertaining too. Went about 12 minutes and 50 seconds. But the pay-per-view, not premium live event, the pay-per-view proper started off with Pretty Ricky Starks going against Chris Jericho. So yeah, this match here, I mean, basically when it comes down to it, it's Chris Jericho trying to help AEW create a star in Ricky Starks. And it's cool to see. I mean, Chris Jericho went out there first. Everyone's singing a song, and heel or face, it doesn't matter. That crowd just loves Chris Jericho. Ricky Starks comes out, and for me, Ricky Starks does have a presence that's beginning to grow into a star. And I would say, I think he's a star, superstar. I think he's growing into, but star, I think he's there because people in AEW, you can feel the love. They have a reaction. They care. They don't sit on their hands when it comes to Ricky Starks. And all in all, these two, they had a phenomenal match, I felt like. There was some interference, even though the Jericho Appreciation Society was not supposed to be able to interfere. You had Sammy Guevara try to get involved. The bat came into play. But then in the end, Ricky Starks was able to pick up the victory regardless of all of that, which was pretty cool. There was a little bit of back and forth with the lion tamer and like a single leg from Ricky Starks in submission. So that was cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, in the end, Ricky Starks did pick up the victory. And for me, I felt like it was a strong win because for one, it's on a pay-per-view. You're beating a former AEW champion, a former multi-time world champion.
The first AEW champion.
The first AEW champion. And he's the Ocho. He's the guy that has been a multi-time a world champion, an undisputed champion in WWE, all over. So Ricky Starks getting a win like that. This is the second time I think we're seeing Ricky Starks beat Jericho one-on-one. So it's just to help establish him even more as a star. And I think that this matchup, it does help him on that ascend because you have to have him have, bodies like that, names like that on his resume in order to have him have that legitimacy to really push him to the top. So I'm really excited to see where they go from here. Now, it was insinuated on Dynamite where he would be going. Ricky Starks came out. Now, the way that this came off on Dynamite to me, it kind of felt like there wasn't really a story plan for Ricky Starks, but there is kind of he said it's not about what I'm doing, but where I'm going. So I think what they're insinuating with this guy, Juice Robinson, coming from Bullet Club was, hey, he's going to Japan, to face off against Juice Robinson, maybe mix it up with the remains of the Bullet Club over there. So that'll be kind of interesting to see how they play that off on AEW television. It'll probably show up on New Japan Pro, but will this feud take place also in AEW here in the States locally? We'll have to find out. I am interested in seeing where they go with this. I hope Ricky Starks doesn't take a step back as far as the exposure on AEW television in favor of showing him in Japan. That is one kind of question I have. Not necessarily concern, because I think it can work out, but it's a question that I have around his exposure because you got to keep showing him on television. But overall, what was your take on this matchup and just everything this means as far as developing Ricky Starks into a star, maybe for you if he's not there yet, or a superstar if he's already a star?
First of all, salute to the chat. We see y'all in the building. What up, Bloodline brother? What up, Nick? Sup, boys? Hell of a time this week. Catching up with the Messiah was the feather in the cap with the one up. Yes, it was. I was just telling brother, yes, it was a good time. It was a good time. Oh man, we got JD in the chat. What up, First Lady? Always welcome. Always welcome. Streets in the building as well. Everybody getting their ones up. I like this. I'm just gonna say, keep my finger up. Just the ones up. Just keep the ones up. All right. And then we got Dylan in the chat. What up? What up, Dylan in the chat with the one up. And we got TK in the chat. What up? With the one up as well. Appreciate it. All right. Now, Ricky Stocks. Step one was, I could say this. Step one of Chris Jericho making Ricky Starks feel important after this match was done right, was completed. I say step one is complete. Now, where my trepidations lie, it's the second step. Like you just made a point about, getting New Japan involved, and I worry about that. Are we going to take a step back? Because I don't think, even though, it's AEW fans, I just think it's a niche within a niche. All right, so it's even within a smaller audience with the New Japan with the AEW. So you might be taking a chance, you might be taking a risk with that, a gamble with that. But to answer your question about making a star for Ricky Starks, I believe they're on that road, and I just hope they just keep this momentum going because I do like the first part how they did the rivalry with Chris Jericho and Ricky Starks, and it was a good step one. So let's just keep this going. I want to be talking about having a Where's Ricky, and we got the whole Where's Waldo get up.
Yeah, I guess the way I look at it with it, even listening to you talk about it a little bit here, is that if you pay attention to the reaction of the AEW crowd that's in the building there, whenever someone from New Japan shows up, there are some people where you can tell they know who this dude is, right? And so I feel like the more of the concern would be for, say, a more not casual fan, but like just if you're not keeping up with New Japan, if you're just watching AEW on television, like that's the concern is, are they going to go out of their way to see what he's doing in New Japan? That'd probably be more of the concern. I think most of the people that go to these shows, they are aware of what's going on in New Japan. So I think that there is a, to your point about a niche within a niche, I think there is some truth to that, but I also do think that they are playing to their core audience more so than trying to play to like, people who are more, it's hard. The word casual, I feel like doesn't fit here, but it's just people who are, because if you're watching AEW, to be honest, it's not, I don't even know if you're necessarily a casual fan. I feel like most people that are watching AEW are like smart wrestling fans who, wanted something different than WWE, and they are very much like, they like the indie stuff, like they like the moves, they like to see, the different, like, like just everything that a lot of these guys bring, like the Kenny Omegas and the Young Bucks, and as far as their wrestling styles, like it's really more about that like in ring than like anything else. So they really love the wrestling side of things, and so for me, I feel like I don't worry about that fan base. It's more of this is something where big picture, you want to grow the company, you want to have all sorts of people see from all walks of life, see, Ricky Starks and see the product, right? And so, move like this to New Japan, it could work in a bunch of different ways. It could be like, hey, if you are someone who was just watching AEW, not watching New Japan, maybe they are trying to help New Japan get some more viewers, and even if it's just a handful, like it's still something. So that partnership, maybe in a way they just look at it as, hey, we're helping out New Japan, and at the same time, we're expanding Ricky to, in a global way, where it's not just people in the States that would know Ricky. It's also now people in Japan that'll know Ricky. And then, I mean, Japan, that's definitely a hardcore fan base, as far as Japan fan base. So if you get, that fan base knowing Ricky and being behind Ricky, and you got the AEW fan base, loving Ricky, now you're expanding the amount of people that know him. It's more about that momentum here. And I think the way to really be able to balance that out is, have him do the stuff in Japan, but then you got to talk about it on AEW Dynamite. You can't just ignore it. You can't.
Well, that's a good point right there. Yeah.
It's like with what Kenny Omega was doing as the belt collector.
Yeah.
Like when they didn't talk about it, I was sitting here going, man, what? Like, why aren't they talking about what he's doing in all these other companies?
That's why it flopped like that. It wasn't talking about it. Yep.
It didn't even matter because they didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's the thing is this going to be another one of those situations where, it's cool that he's kind of spreading his wings and going, over to Japan and doing his thing. But, do they make the same mistake and not, and lose momentum with him because they keep it to New Japan and don't even act like that stuff is happening when it comes to AEW? That I think is the question now. Their
booking is shaky when it comes to building stars. So when I hear Juice Robinson is going to get involved with Ricky Starks, I get a little bit worried. All right, because you say that, okay, we're going to expose Ricky, go to a larger audience so we can grow the audience. But I think about last year, what was it, Forbidden Door? I'm like, did that actually help? Was that a catalyst to help grow AEW even further? And I don't think so. Not their audience, not even looking at it from a business state-wise of, I hate to bring analytics right now, but I'm just saying, from a growth, from a year to date growth, did they actually grow from that summer to this upcoming summer? I would like to know something like that. But I believe just looking at the weekly ratings, even with MJF, he's the champion, but he's not even now raising the ratings as well. They're just staying flatline.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, going into analytics, that's always hard, to
That's why I hate to bring analytics in there.
And if we want to do that and bring in the numbers, I mean, we could try to start doing that research more so to really have some hard facts with it. But at the end of the day, I just look at, okay, on a basic level, you think about them bringing up, hey, we're opening up this Forbidden Door, right? It did get people talking. People were. Some people were trolling Tony Khan and clowning Tony Khan for even bringing that up. The Forbidden Door, like what is it? Come on, man, like calm down.
The Forbidden Door.
But then having people like Will Ospreay and Switchblade show up and be a part of the show, it's like, okay, I feel like that did spark curiosity to where I wanted to make sure I did see those acts show up. And interact with AEW guys, like their top guys.
Yeah, they had me follow Switchblade.
Yeah, what I'm saying? That's where for me, I knew he existed, but I was like, oh man, I wish I could see more of this dude.
Right.
So it did work. I think for me personally, on a bigger scale, there would have to be some work done to see like how that's actually turned into more ratings and grown the fan base. But I do think ideas like that, think about like when WWE had Invasion, right? And you had WCW and ECW all in one, like that got people talking and people wanted to see it. Was it a success? Some would say no. Some would say it flopped because you didn't have a lot of the big stars there, right? Goldberg wasn't there, for a lot of it. Sting wasn't there. Like a lot of those mainstay big names that you wanted to see were not present for that, So it's just one of those things where I think the idea of it will always create a buzz. The execution of it is a whole nother thing, and we'll have to see. We'll have to, get some analytics on this.
Hold on real quick. Let me cover this comment real quick from Ivan. It will be in the States, most likely New Japan Strong coming up in the East Coast and coming in Cali and maybe to build up with Juice Robinson.
Yeah, I know about that too because there was some stuff with Switchblade doing some stuff with them when he lost a loser leaves Japan match to Hikuleo, and then he had a match Gosh, who was that match supposed
Eddie,
to be? Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean,
Lost
that's
that
possible.
one too.
I think that'd be good, but they still got to talk about it. They still got to talk about it.
You made that point.
With that, if he's not going to Japan, but he's here in the States with New Japan Strong, they still have to mention and talk about it and showcase it so that he doesn't lose momentum. So cool. So with that, I'm gonna try something different too, and kind of build up the rating here for the show overall. I think for this match, I'm probably looking at it as like kind of a B kind of matchup here. I felt like it did good overall. It wasn't anything mind blowing, but it was a solid matchup overall. So I'm gonna hit it with a solid. Like, I'm gonna do a percentage. I'm gonna go 85%. 85% score for this particular match. And I'm going to keep adding these up, and then we're going to see it. We're going to come up with an overall grade for the show based off that. But I'm going 85% for the matchup here. So to change up just a little bit.
For season 5 for the Clark Street Wrestling Podcast.
I wasn't even thinking that, but cool. I mean, that works too. It's just something I was thinking about when I was watching it. I was rewatching. I was like, if I added up these scores, I wonder what this would be. And I don't know. I'm actually just doing this right now. So we're going to find out. All right. Next matchup, we had Jungle Boy Jack Perry against Christian Cage in the final burial match. The one thing that was kind of annoying, well, there were many things annoying about this matchup, but one thing that was kind of annoying was JR trying to make it seem like we had never seen a final burial match before. That, to me, bugged me. I'm listening to this man, and I'm like, JR, are you serious? All the casket matches you don't watch in WWE with The Undertaker, and you want to act like this is the first time we've seen somebody put in a casket, no, man, we don't know what's going to happen. And that's
I've never seen anything like this.
Like, JR, it's all love, man. Like, you're great. You're one of the GOATs. Come on now. Like, you have a lot of smart wrestling fans watching this. You got to cater to that. Don't treat it like people are watching this shit for the first time. That's irritated me off the bat. But yeah, just, Jungle Boy, Christian Cage, this storyline had been going on forever. It's as soon as, it started up, I was like, yeah, I'm just ready for this to be done. Like, I just want this to be over with. Now, what kind of gets me though is this match was actually really good. In a vacuum, the match itself, I thought, was actually really good. If you just look at the way these two performed in this matchup, in some of the spots, especially when they got in around the casket, and like, the concerto from Jungle Boy, the way he hit Christian Cage.
Yeah, I think he tagged him for real.
He actually hit him.
Yeah.
That shook me. I was like, whoa, hold on. Right. And then he paused, and he kind of was like, okay, and he, was praying, whatever, like, goodbye, kiss his forehead and then shut the door. But like, that concerto was crazy. The fact that he hit him as hard as he did. But yeah, like, Christian, he can still go. He does his thing, like, I thought, again, in a vacuum, if you just look at this match on its own, it was fine. It was fine. It was like a solid, probably another solid, like B type of matchup, like 85 percentage wise, score I would give this. But in context of looking at the buildup and the whole story and how long it took, it's not Christian Cage's fault that he got hurt. But then just the way it felt, I felt like they didn't do a good job of
every week.
Like,
he's talking about your dead.
Like, wait, say that again?
Every week he talked about his dead. Like, your dead is dead.
Well, it's not even that. Like, that stuff there, I guess maybe I'm used to that with AEW because they do have a lot of that. Like, they'll push the envelope with some of their promos. I think I was fine with that. It's just literally how long this story took to really develop and evolve and just like get to this point. Really, when I forget what pay-per-view it was, if it was all in when they were supposed to have their matchup, and then Luchasaurus turned on Jungle Boy. Yeah. But I feel like you could have had this match then. Like, you could have just literally had them had a match, but then they wanted to extend it. Like, I just wish this would have ended sooner. And it wasn't like they really, I guess, to your point about them talking about his dad being dead over and over again, it's like if you add different wrinkles to the story, which they tried with Luchasaurus, but then it's weird. Like, Luchasaurus, it didn't even matter. Like, when Christian Cage wasn't there,
because he went back and forth. He was healed, and all right, now I'm not healed.
But even when he was healed, even when he decided, like, I'm healed now, and it's me and against, Jungle Boy. It kind of, I just didn't really, they didn't get me invested into these two guys were best friends. And, it should hurt. It should hurt that Luchasaurus betrayed Jungle Boy. They were tag team champions, them, Marco Stunt, the family that they had built,
That's true.
to get to that point where Luchasaurus turns on them, it's like, we should give a shit, but we just didn't. And so I just feel like it was a missed opportunity. And with how heavy the story is, not only did his best friend leave him, but this father figure is betraying him and is talking shit about his father, who's actually dead in real life. And then he's talking shit about his sister. He's talking shit about his mom. All of this is just falling flat.
And no one gives a shit.
What happened? Like, why is it that? Because all of this stuff, I mean, let's say, look at WWE. There are some similarities to some storylines that happen in WWE with all this. Yeah. I mean, look at just recently with Sami Zayn and his wife and his kids and Roman Reigns talking to them, talking shit. It's like, you can bring up the family stuff and people give a shit. But the way they've developed that story, the way that there seems to be actual care around that storytelling.
Yeah. But I was going to say, hold on. But Roman, he didn't attack Sami Zayn's family like every week. So when he decided to talk shit to his wife or just talk to his wife, it mattered. It felt important as to AEW style. They give you that shocking moment, like to your point, like they get real shocking, but yet they water it down. They keep on doing it more, and then it's just less effective.
But I guess, did you feel it was effective the first time?
Oh yeah, it was. When Christian went there with Jungle Boy, talked about it there, I was like, shit, damn. But then it was just every week. It was just he wasn't even changing it up. It was no variation to it. And
I'll tell you, I actually didn't feel anything from it even the first time that he said it. Okay. Like it just, to me, honestly, it felt like, because it happened around the time that Max had left the company. And I almost felt like he was doing a MJF impersonation with that promo. Like it just felt like, okay, where is this coming from? Like it didn't seem to fit in with how his character had been. I get it that you turned heel, but then you're like going to this point, and I don't know, it just felt like it's not like, where is this coming from? With Max, we know he's an asshole. Like we know he's a piece of shit. So you kind of expect him to say some out-of-pocket stuff at this point. Like he's earned that. This with Christian wasn't earned. This wasn't something that it's like, oh, you could see this coming. Like he hates Jungle Boy to this point, to where he's going to talk about his father in this way, talking about to his mom this way, talk about his sister this way. Like there's something about earning that feeling from the audience that they just don't get. They think that, okay, I'm just going to put together these words and it's going to mean something. It's like, no, you actually have to build up to that point to where it's like, oh shit. Like for instance, I think honestly, it's not about Tribal Chief saying it for the first time. I think it's the fact that relationship between Sammy and Roman had been going on for so long. And then the things that he's saying to Sammy, the things he's saying to his wife wasn't even, it's still to his character. I wanted this. I wanted us to be together. I wanted to provide. That's the same shit he said to Jey Uso in the beginning of this whole storyline when he said, hey, like, I'm a provider. Like, I'm trying to provide for us. Like, that's what he's always saying. So to me, like, Roman saying that is earned because that is his character. But with Christian, he never was a person that seemed to be this like disgusting, abhorrent person who would just say some out-of-pocket stuff to somebody's mom or somebody's wife. Like, where did this come? You literally were just cool with this dude, and all of a sudden now you talking about, hey, hit me up. Like, what? You sleazeball? Like, I don't give a. Like, I don't even. It just seemed weird. It's like, honestly, Paul Heyman saying the stuff about Brandy. Like, oh yeah, like Roman Reigns is happily married, but I'm not. Like, that to me was weird. It's like, no,
it wasn't
like
weird. He was just trying to get in his head. I get that.
but see,
I get that.
But that's where I guess me being consistent with this, that's where I have a problem with like a story like that. Like for Paul, where is this coming from? You are never somebody who's to speak like that to anybody while you've been the wise man. You're always like, okay, you're advising Roman Reigns. And sure, even with Brock Lesnar, I don't remember you saying anything like that about somebody's wife or getting involved that way. No. You may say, hey, you're about to get your ass whooped. This is going to happen to you. That's going to happen to you. But to go to that point where you're talking about sleeping with another dude's wife, that's not anything that I can say, oh, yeah, I can see where Paul would say that because that's in Paul's character. No, it's not. Where did that come from? Ain't nobody believing this, Paul. And why if I don't believe it, why does Cody believe it? I'm supposed to now believe Cody worried it. He was short circuiting. Is gonna get with Brandy? Like, I'm not worried about that, and neither is Cody. Get out of here, dude. Like, that was weak. So it's the same way with this. Is like, Christian, what? Like, with the stuff you're saying, it doesn't even make sense. So that, I think that's, for me, is like the story right there. It felt like he was just trying to be MJF. Like, that's literally what it felt like he was doing in that moment. Like,
because MJF was gone, remember? So Christian kind of fulfilled that role.
To take that spot.
I think he said that in one of those recaps. Like, I feel like he is substituting for MJF right now. It literally
happened. I think it was almost, if not the same night or the same week, like it was like around the same time when MJF was gone. Here comes Christian Cage doing the MJF, because even MJF said, hey, there's guys out there that want my spot. Here's your chance. And then here comes Christian Cage doing the whole, where's Jungle Boy's mom? Yeah, let me talk to her real quick. The fuck? No, man. Like, come on. So that, to me, is where I feel like it never quite caught on. It's like, you got to earn that shit. You got to earn the crowd believing that shit is real and that I would care about him saying some stuff.
But what's their reason for coming together at first?
Well, man, that's a great question. Like, him even joining that group, I'm trying to remember when it first started, because he was basically a mentor.
That might plays a part, because you made a point about Tribal Chief and Sami Zayn, how it's layered, but you saw the inception, how it all started, how Sami Zayn proposed the idea. Like, man, I've been falling on my down luck. I'm having WrestleMania matches with Jackass
that's
and
a good
shit.
Question.
I need to turn it around.
That's a good question. Yeah.
So
all I remember is Christian, I think he got together with them a little after he became Impact champion. Like, I think it was after that, because I remember him fighting Kenny Omega and he wasn't with them. But then
was he though? Was it because Kenny Omega had he had backup at the time, right? He had the Elite.
He's always he had them, but I don't think they were with him at that time. I could be wrong. I don't remember Jurassic Express being with Christian around that time. But yeah, that's a good point. I kind of want to go back and see, like, when did all this start?
Well, that's the reason why you don't feel nothing. You didn't feel anything when they came together. So why would you feel anything?
And honestly, we know the thing with AEW. These factions just come together, right?
Yeah.
It just happens. They just want to get as many people on television as possible. So it's like, you're in a faction, you're in a faction, you're in a faction, you're in a faction. And I get it. And I'm not even mad at that. That's fine. But like, once they were together, it's like, okay, now you're starting to, you're starting to build something, right? You're starting to build chemistry. You're starting to get to know each other. And there are seeds that you can use if you split up to then make a story that really people care about. Basically you were their mentor, and you were telling them, hey, you got to pull the trigger. You got to be willing to do what it takes. And, Jungle Boy was hesitant. He didn't have the killer instinct. They lost the titles. And then Christian Cage was like pissed off and whatever. He turned on him. I feel like even that, they should have taken their time with even him saying, oh, I'm going to turn on this dude after that. You could see it coming that potentially it was going to happen.
Well, later, but like
that, because that was earned. That actually, slowly but surely, you saw Jungle Boy wasn't willing to do that shit. And we know Christian's history. Yeah, he's been a heel. He can do that evil shit if he needs to.
You get a faction.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Tons of them.
Yeah, I feel like play on that more. The fact that he was pissed off that Jungle Boy wouldn't pull the trigger, not about his, mom and his dad and all this stuff. It's like, no, you're weak. Jungle Boy, you weak. You're weak, and that's why you lost. And you embarrassed me out there. You know what I'm saying? And so, okay, I'm going to teach you a lesson. Like, I'm going to try to make you better by being the devil to you. And that's going to be like a whole Max thing too. But at least it makes more sense here because that's what he was trying to instill in Jungle Boy was that dark side. So if he had played off of that more, then it's like, oh shit, like he's really trying to call out Jungle Boy for basically being a little bitch. And Jungle Boy's going to have to stand up for himself, you know what I'm saying? And find that in him. You know, he's going to have to find his cojones, or else Christian Cage is going to mop the floor with him, use heel tactics, and take this man out. So if you're going to survive, you better figure this out. So that to me would have been more like, you know, master student type storyline that I would have bought into more than all this other vulgar shit that didn't make sense for Christian Cage. So that's my rant on that. I don't know.
So what's your grade on this? What's your percentage? I got to know now.
Man, like I said, the match itself was fine. In a vacuum, the match was an 85. But if I take all this in consideration,
yeah. We ain't no vacuum, no. This ain't no vacuum.
Drop it maybe a good 10 points to like a 75, honestly.
Okay.
And even I think I'm still being generous with that, but I'm gonna say 75 because that right there, automatic, like I'm still bothered by that while I'm watching this matchup. And so part of me wants to enjoy it, but part of me still sitting here looking at it being like, God, this should have been so much better. God, they had the seeds play. Like there's so much here. And I feel like another thing that might be a common theme here with this is AEW, there are some elements that could and should be more, I should be more invested in than I was. There was the whole thing with Wardlow. I'll just say it now so I don't forget later. With Wardlow and his hair that I should be more invested in. And he's talking about, I think his father and like the connection there. That should be something where like I'm feeling emotional and almost in tears because of how much this means. And I'm just like, wait, what? Really? Like, I don't care. I just don't care about that right now because the way it's being presented. And it sucks. It's like a wasted opportunity. But we'll get there later on. For this one, though, I'm gonna say 75. I'm gonna say 75 on this matchup just because I have to downgrade it for just that bad taste in my mouth left by the story that just wasn't fulfilled the way it should have been. So my honest take.
Yeah, with me with this match, I didn't care about this match. I didn't care now one bit. Yeah, in the moment, like you said, in the vacuum, ooh, ah, all that good stuff. But with watching this match in its entirety, with the storyline, I didn't care. Even towards the end when Jungle Boy was crying and he was hesitating, I'm like, bro, just get it over with. This is weird now. This is weird. I'm like, just like then you try to run him over, and all of a sudden you right there and you hesitating. You've been trying to kill him. You've been trying to murk him. All of a sudden you
picked up the shovel and tried to take his head off. Like there's so much.
AEW suck at telling stories, man. So this is a pure example of one of them. But my brother Hafeez, he already rented that out, so he took care of that part for me. So thank you, sir.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on here. We got for the trios championships, the House of Black versus the Elite. So Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews versus Kenny Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson. All right. This one was a lot of fun, right? This one was a lot of fun. But I do wish that there was more to the match than it just being a match between these two awesome teams. Like both teams are awesome, right? Yeah. The Elite have so much chemistry and they're so entertaining and just like they just know how to put on a fun wrestling match. House of Black presentation is
they got it
10 out of 10.
Yeah,
100%. Just no complaints. I could watch just their entrance alone and be like, got my money's worth. These dudes are the shit. So yes, sir. Like House of Black, they're those dudes. The match itself, it was cool to see. I think it was Buddy Matthews that started off with Kenny Omega, and then you had Excalibur talking about the comparisons between the two. That a lot of people would compare Buddy Matthews' size, style, speed to Kenny Omega, which was cool. And then you got Malachi come in, and then it's like, oh shit, and the crowd, really got into that, saying this is awesome before they even threw a strike. And I'm hoping somewhere back there, Tony Khan took a note and said, we have to make this match happen. These two guys have to have a match. I am praying that they paid attention to what we saw there, because I need to see a one-on-one match between Kenny Omega and Malachi Black. Please, Tony, TK, please make that happen. All right, I'm just going to say that. I got to. So that was cool. And then it was cool seeing like Matt Jackson, he went in there. He's like, I want the big guy. And then Brody King comes in. Brody King looked insane. This man looked insane. The face paint he had on was insane. It was on point. He got in the ring, big as hell. And then Matt realized, oh gosh, this guy is pretty big. Yeah, let me tag it, Nick. And Nick said, hell no, this is all you. You go ahead and take this. And I said, oh shit. So that was cool. They tried to team up on him. And then the whole match, fast paced, like just the action was all just over the place in the best way. Go see it if you haven't seen the matchup. But overall, it was a lot of fun. I was rooting for House of Black. Mm-hmm. I was kind of surprised that House of Black won when it happened. I was rooting for them, but I was like, ooh, are they actually going to pull the trigger and make House of Black win this matchup? Because it feels like, honestly, the Elite just finished this whole like best of 7 series and now are definitively the Trio Champions. And now they're getting ready to go against House of Black. I'm like, it probably
title reigns. Do they even matter in AEW?
Yeah, I mean, they will for one guy. We're getting there.
Well,
one guy definitely will. But so I was kind of surprised, but seeing them get the dub and hearing the crowd reaction too, like the crowd, they bought into it. They were happy to see House of Black as your new trios champions. It was great. It was a fun matchup overall. I mean, just everybody in that match brought it. It just was a very probably one of the best versions of AEW. Like if you're trying to get somebody interested in AEW, this is the kind of match to show them, because I think it represents some of the peak entertainment and performances you'll get from AEW. Storytelling, I'm not showing somebody necessarily a storyline for AEW necessarily. You'd probably go back to some of the earlier
show Christian stuff. And Jungle Boy.
Hell no, you're not doing that. Not from this show. If you're picking something from this show, the main event, I can show somebody, and this match right here. These are two things that I'd say, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like the best of AEW, this 6-man, this trio championship matchup, you're going to have a lot of fun. The entrances are fun. Yeah. Everybody in here is on point. Boom. That would be a selling point for me for trying to get somebody interested in AEW. So this one here, as far as the score, man, it's tough. Like, it's definitely 90 or up or higher for me on this one. 90%, it's an A match for sure. I'm gonna say, like I said, this is probably the best of AEW. So on that scale, I'm gonna give it a 95. I'm gonna say this one was a 95. Like, I don't know if we get a better trio. The only thing that would have made it 100 is if there would have been a story that would have brought them together that really got you invested.
This was a real quick build.
Amazing.
Yeah. This was probably the most enjoyable match for me. That I enjoyed. The trios was good. Man, my only nitpick, man, was the production for this pay-per-view, because some of these camera angles, man, they was fucking up on these close finishes in the trios match. Like, it was one pin, and I thought, it looked like it could be a near finish, possibly, but then you see they caught him 2 times. They caught Buddy Murphy coming in for the save, and they caught Matt Jackson coming in for one of those spots too for the save. And I was like, man, come on, bro. Come on, camera guy. Like, who's back there? Like, they just staying on camera 3 right now. Camera 3 just right there. It's on you, camera 3. Just whatever you do, don't stay at that position. And the camera didn't move for that one spot either. So that's my only gripe for that one match. But outside of that, man, it was thrilling. It was fun seeing Julia Hart getting hit with the V trigger.
Oh yeah, that was vicious. That was vicious. Yeah.
And Kenny not giving a fuck. He was like, man, whatever. That's on her. That's on her. She I told her to get down, and that's what happened, man. So I was gonna appreciate that type of zero fucks attitude.
I'm not making myself clear. I don't give a fuck.
Facts,
yeah, man. So yeah, it was fun, man. Shout out to Brian Cook, Chicago brethren over there. We said House of Black were just bullies the whole match. I don't think we're ever seen the Elite get overwhelmed like they were Sunday night. Yeah. It looked like they was maybe out of their league a little bit, out of their level, because House of Black they ain't fucking around. They came in there and put hands, especially Brody. That dude was a beast.
Brody is a beast, man.
Brody
that
was
dude,
a beast.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Oh yeah, and then that new barricade. That thing is solid. That thing is stiff. That thing is not budging. Okay, so they might need to change that up. I don't know if that's a safety precaution or I don't know if they're thinking about safety for their wrestlers, but maybe they need to put some mats or something because that thing does not give.
Yeah, man. That was that was funny. I can't wait till we get to the main event because I feel like that came up a lot, especially when we're talking about Daniel Bryan and past injuries and worrying about him, and he's smashing into the barricade and jumping off the ring apron and going into the barricade. Like, I'm like, dude, man, I really felt it there the most. And I think also we talked about this on the stream. It's because his history. You're just worried about him. So yeah. Like that's true. That's true. They don't got that padding, man, on there, and you feel it. You hear it, you feel it.
It's like a solid gate. Like damn.
Yeah.
Shout out to the chat who giving us hitting us up. They want to collaborate with us. Hey, you want to send out requests during while we live streaming? Cool. All right, and I will respond in the DM. We can talk later. All right, running the show right now. Running the show right now. Can't answer you right now. Not on the spot. I gotta keep it professional.
Appreciate it, man. But yeah, so overall solid matchup, 95%. I'm gonna give it a 95. All right, let's talk about the AEW Women's World Championship match. The champ Jamie Hayter versus Saraya and Ruby Soho. All right, so coming off of the trios match, I felt like the energy in the arena was still decent. It wasn't really all that high. I feel like there was quiet at times, especially for Saraya. I felt like it's interesting how, she is the most notable person probably in this matchup, given her history with WWE and, she's world known and all that. And, I think for her, like you heard almost no chance, going towards or against her. It was a lot of, let's go Jamie, let's go Ruby. Like, people are chanting for Ruby Soho, people chanting for Jamie Hayter, but really like nothing for Saraya. So that was kind of interesting. And then
she's the star, she's the superstar. She came in with the big debut.
She is,
Former
WWE.
And
I think we both know like just the way that they book, it is one of those fears that you have around, how they handle some of these incoming WWE stars, like a Ruby Soho. Like Ruby Soho, same thing. When she first came in, there was a lot of fanfare, and then she kind of faded off. But it was nice seeing Ruby Soho in this situation where she got an opportunity at a championship, and she went out there, and all three of the women, I would say they did bring it. They did bring it. Saraya played off the injury a couple times. I remember one spot where she stopped all the action. She was like, "Wait, stop!" And she held her goofy and neck. Ow! And at first I'm thinking like, what is happening? What is going on? And then she did that. I'm like, oh, okay, she's just trying to play off the injury. And even commentary was like, they're not gonna stop. Like, what you talking about? They're not gonna stop. No, hell no. And they went right at her. So yeah, it was kind of goofy, but I mean, it is what it is. Like, I see what she's trying to do as far as like give us some entertainment in between. Like they're just kind of having fun in a way, I guess, with the fact that people are going to be afraid of her getting re-injured. So now they're just going to use that to kind of psychologically mess with the audience and have her use that to mess with her opponents too. But the opponents didn't give a shit. They're like, oh, you hurt? Okay, well, we gonna break it down even more. So, I was okay with that. I was fine with that. Matchup seemed to be mostly though about Jamie Hayter, Ruby Soho. A lot of back and forth, roll up after roll up, going back and like trading off with, who had the upper hand. In the end, Jamie Hayter did retain. She did get the victory. And, you had Ruby Soho kind of stunned at the whole thing, right? And there's been this whole buildup of, what side is she going to choose? Is she going to choose the outsiders, or is she going to choose the homegrown? And it's interesting because, like, I started thinking about this whole thing with homegrown with AEW. And I feel like,
what does that mean?
There needs to be another word that they use. I think originals, I think, is better than homegrown, because if we're being honest, none of them are homegrown. Like, AEW didn't really build it. Well, yeah, I guess so, because Jade is the only person that we don't know of her having wrestled anywhere else.
Yeah,
but
I don't think she did. Yeah, she has no wrestling background.
All of these other wrestlers, they came from all walks of life as far as the indie scene in Japan. So the homegrown thing, I was like even Tony Schiavone saying like, oh, I felt like Ruby Soho was homegrown. I mean, I know she came from another place, but she's been here so long. No, she's not homegrown. She's not. Like, clearly she's not. Like, if you want to say original, she's not even that. Like, she came in after the fact from another place. So yeah, like, let's clean that up a little bit. Jamie Hayter, I feel like I want her to stand out. I want her to really establish herself as a champion. So. It's clear that the fans love her. The fans absolutely love her. And it can be that she becomes a superstar in AEW just based off fan reaction alone. But I feel like I definitely think she could be, again, because of the fans. I think though that it's it comes down to booking, and with the way it's been so far
in time.
Like, even in this story, she just felt like she didn't. I hate to say it, but she didn't feel like she was defending the title at some times in the match. She felt like she was a participant in a championship match, not necessarily
like as the champion defending
down. Right.
Yeah.
And that I think is a product of just how she's been booked and how she's been presented so far. Britt Baker still feels like the number one woman in the women's division. And, then you have Jade, who also, is one of the top women as well. And then just by name, Saraya, sure, I would say like she kind of stands out as being another potential face. But Jamie Hayter's the champion, so that to me is kind of, they need to rectify that. They need to do work to try to really have Jamie Hayter stand out better than what she does now. And I think Jamie Hayter on her own in these matches is doing everything she can. Now I think there needs to be more work done to really like promote her and push her and give her the limelight. Separate her from Britt. Like, I think maybe try that. Like, don't have her with Britt, because it just feels like she's in Britt's shadow, and they're trying to use Britt, trying to elevate her. But all that's happening is she feels like Britt's lackey still. And it doesn't make sense. Yeah. So, I want that to change up a little bit. And I guess another thing, too, with the presentation during the show that kind of caught me was the way that they presented the stories whenever they did talk about, like before the match. How a lot of times you would
get
say,
the promo, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It would be like Renee or Tony or Excalibur, like talking about the story. I don't actually like that. Like I guess they're trying to do like a sports thing and like have it be almost like, like a UFC where you have like a DC talking about what he's seeing and what the dynamics are between these two. What about using footage from the shows, from Dynamite, from Rampage, where they're cutting promos on each other to help build that video that plays before the match? Because I'm looking for that video to hype me up, and they didn't do it. And I'm just like, and it just fell flat. Like those videos fell flat every time. I'm like,
because you're programmed by WWE, you're used to that dramatic music, cutscene,
you know
slow
what's
motion.
crazy though that you say that? You know what's crazy that you say that? Remember when AEW first started? They actually had high production promo videos that they would put together.
Bro, that's how I caught on to Lance Archer when they would do like them crazy fucking promos for Lance Archer out in some type of backwood. They slow and he's like in slow mo, and they got the dramatic music, and he out in the ring, and I'm like, bro, what is this? Who is this monster? But now he's just I don't give a fuck. About Lance Archer.
Man. Yeah, it's just, and I guess to compare it to like a New Japan, right? Like it's kind of more similar to that than to WWE as far as how they present the stories. Like in New Japan, you don't get like Wrestle Kingdom. There wasn't barely any videos between each match that happened. Like I'm trying to think, did the Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega match even show a video? I feel like they did. I feel like they showed one for that.
I thought they showed the promo, like a recap.
Yeah, part of what happened at the press conference. Yeah. I think they showed that. And then Kenny's original promo video when he said he was coming to Japan and he spoke in Japanese. I think they showed that too. Like at least part of that. They like melded that together. But everything else that happened prior to that matchup, I don't think they had anything like that. You know, when Okada and Switchblade went against each other, I think they had a video too. But long story short, like, you know, I feel like AEW is kind of, they're in this in-between where they love the New Japan style and they want to be more like a sport and present it like a sport at times. But then they also realize that, hey, these vignettes, these videos, these promos like WWE does works. And so they're trying to come up with their own thing. And, you know, again, I when I was watching, I think of like, you know, like a UFC or like a, you know, NBA or NFL where you'll get like the sportscasters talking about them versus the wrestlers actually like telling the story together. And I'm just like, it's just feeling flat. It's feeling flat. Like as far as what I enjoy, you know, what I enjoy seeing as far as a build up to a story. So, you know, I just wanted to bring that up there because I'm trying to remember, even with this, I wish that we would have had that we would have had something there that would have shown a story build up before this matchup, that it was Jamie Hayter talking and being very like, I'm the champion.
Yeah, like her mission statement showing about what a champion is all about, but you know, they don't care about, but you don't
really, you didn't really get that. So overall, with this one, I'm gonna say I'm giving this one I think the match was fine.
Yeah,
I think it was a fine matchup. It was entertaining on its own. Story wise, there was nothing really there, but I don't feel as bad about it as I did the Jungle Boy Christian Cage matchup. So I'm gonna give this one a low B, like a B minus, like an 80%. Feel like that's where this one kind of fell for me.
Way lower than that.
Way lower?
Yeah, it's not fault to the ladies, it's just more the presentation of the ladies. Because I know you say like, you know, they are who they are, but it fucking grinds my gears when, all right, usually we say every 90 days they give us more than one women's match, but for some reason, for some reason, we just get this one with multiple women, with multiple women in it.
We got so maybe we had two on the outside too. There were 5 women a part of this. Tony Storm and Britt Baker were there, so technically this was more than what we typically get.
Right. Or maybe because they gave us 3 women matches on the last pay-per-view, so they're just they're on target with their average.
It's averaging too.
It's averaging out. The law of
average is still there. Yeah, that's bad.
I know, right? I gotta reach like that, bro.
It's tough, man. I feel like as much as I want to, as much as I do agree with you, I do agree with you on that. I do feel like AEW is just what I have to continue to tell myself is AEW is doing a different thing than WWE. They're not WWE. they have their own style, and for their audience, there are a lot of people that love and enjoy that. Is it for me? Some of it is, for sure. Some of it is, but some of the presentation falls flat. But I'm gonna say it's because they're not WWE. They're trying to do it and present it in a different way and separate themselves from WWE in that way. It's fine. It is what it is for them. For me, for what I enjoy, I wish they would showcase the women more. I wish that you would have it. It doesn't even have to be a completely even split, but I'm saying, like, for Dynamite, more than one women's match. For the pay-per-views, yeah, let's have 3. Let's have 4. Is that terrible? You do have talented women there, but I will say, if none of them have storylines and you just put them together, that doesn't work either. It wouldn't. I feel like I'm just at a point where if the definition of insanity being, expecting, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting something to be different, something to change, like, I'm not driving myself crazy over this. I want them to change it, but I think this is who they are until they show us
they're regressing right now, though. That's why I got to speak on it. I feel like they took a step back because they're putting so much focus on this story that I don't even think fans really care about. You got the outsiders against the AEW originals for the women's division. That's taking so much time that even other women are not able to get stories or TV time because this is taking most of the time right now. All right, because you got Saraya, because you signed her, so now you got to show her that she's that star. But I don't see it anymore because I feel like they dwindle just because the way of the booking right now. And now I'm like, how do you have a 53-0 superwoman of a superstar Jade not on your fucking card?
Yeah, no.
Explain that to me, bro. A champion, not on your card. All right. This is AEW. We're not worried about stories, so we could have got a match just like that, right? Right? Just a random opponent, just like here you go, right there. Not even for the 0 hour. Not even for the 0 hour. Can't even get on the pre-show, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And they usually don't hesitate to showcase Jade, so that's a weird one for sure. I mean, as far as them regressing, I see where you're coming from with it, as far as, like, this story people don't really care about and other women aren't getting on the show now because of it. I will say, though, that it's rare to see AEW have a continuing story, though, with the women. And the way this one panned out with Ruby Soho, it looked like, she was conflicted, but at the end she did join these outsiders. So now she's going to be a part of this faction. Again, you get a faction. So we got, Ruby Soho now in a faction. I feel like this is an attempt to try to tell a bigger story, a longer term story with someone other than a Britt Baker.
Yeah.
And I can say, yes, there's a way where it feels like they regress, but yes, this is also kind of an attempt to do something different as far as it comes to a bigger story, a longer term story. And you can try and fail. I mean, let's say this, like, I don't want to necessarily fault them for trying something. And yeah, if it doesn't work, it's fine. But then let's just try something different.
But it's hurting Jamie, though. It's hurting Jamie, Hayter, as building her as a true star because you got her attached to this fucking story. You can actually, this man, you had a perfect opportunity to just separate from her. Just let Britt Baker and let her figure this out. And there's your secondary story right there. AEW Originals against outsiders. And then you got Jamie Hayter just doing her thing just because you got her and whatever feud she's in. All right. Yeah. And then that's how you just make it more streamlined instead of just feel like it's just spaghetti. Feel like it's just everywhere, man.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Okay, let's think about it this way. We know that Tony Khan is more than likely not writing any story that they're coming up with. They have Saraya come into AEW, and Saraya, and we're saying that all of these, for the most part, it seems like it's up to the wrestlers to come up with what these storylines are going to be like. Saraya, I'm going to say, probably in concert with Tony Storm, came up with this idea, right? So they're running with it. They're saying, okay, cool. Let's try this. Let's go with it. I feel like them going that route and trying something and it not working, and then let's say they pivot and go a different direction with it. Like, I think that's fine. I think they should be allowed the ability to try new things. And if they stick, cool. And if they don't, pivot, right? It's like, think Reckoning, right, in WWE.
Yeah.
They really thought that was going to work. It fucking sucked, you know? But what I'll say is, hey, at least they tried to get Ali, you know, this faction. And at least they tried to bring in, you know, these different wrestlers and put them on the main stage. Like, they tried something, and yeah, it sucked, but it's like, okay, they ended it, and then we moved on, you know, like we go on to something different. So with this, I feel like, yeah, let's see what, I mean, okay, look at Judgment Day. Judgment Day in the beginning was not hitting.
It was
right?
not. It was
they
not. It
were
was not
terrible.
hitting. Right.
But then, and obviously with Papa H coming in, things started to change. Things started
chef right there.
True. No,
right.
Exactly. So without that, it's hard to see how the change would come to make this better than what it is. But what I will say is, hey, let's see if, you know, with Saraya and now with Ruby Soho being in the group, maybe they come up with some different ideas in concert. Let's just see. Because again, I'm going to assume, right? And I know you can't assume anything, right? You make an ass out of you and not me. I get it. But I'm going to do it for this because I do not believe that Tony Khan is coming up with these stories. So if I'm saying, hey, this is no, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. If it's Saraya and Ruby Soho and Tony Storm saying, hey, this is what we want to do, and they're working with Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker, and they're saying, okay, cool, let's try this, and then they're saying, hey, this is the story idea we got, Tony, and Tony's saying, do it. Then, like, I gotta, like, for me, I feel kind of shitty being like, oh, this is like, at least they're trying something, you know, like they're going out there and they're trying to tell a story. I'm gonna give them that chance and see what it's like, and if it's not hitting, then change it. But let's at least, I mean, I see you snubbing your nose, but if you
because he's on the record saying I'm the writer, I'm the sole writer, I'm the sole creator, so I gotta go off what I hear and not what you can do what you do, brother. If you want to assume, go ahead and assume. I can't roll like that. I gotta go off the facts of what I heard.
Like, I don't know, man. There's something about the way that these stories come off and like the randomness of it. Like, I just feel like he can't. And he's running, like, helping run the Jaguars and all that. Like no, like that's, then you got too much on your plate, and that's part of the problem. You know, if that's what it is, then like you need to let some of this go and have some other people come in and help you out with that. You know, to make that brings up a bigger question than if it is him. But for some reason, I just don't think. I think that even if when he says he's the sole writer, I'm curious if he means, like, basically what I'm saying is there's a collaboration going on with the wrestlers, right? Like,
I'm sure they are.
He's not writing for MJF. He's not writing for Jericho. Like, those guys, they're, you know, their minds, they're way beyond Tony. Okay. So now when it comes to this match, for instance, like, is he saying, hey, I want to do something with you guys, and, you know, I'm thinking, you know, let's do something akin to the NWO. Yeah. You know, and then there's a collaboration between Saraya and him and Tony around what that looks like. That, I feel like, okay, I'll give you that. But it's like him saying, hey, okay, I'm up at night writing a script, you know, and I get, no, man.
Well, I think he is up at night partially writing the script and then, getting the feedback. He was like, you know what? That's not really going to work for me.
Nah, someone is bringing it to him, and he's saying...
Well, you know what? No. I think, well, you know what? I think two things can be right at the same time. I think he's doing this to, like, MJF, you know, Chris Jericho, you know, but then, you know, to the women, you know what? That suggestion you put, that's not going to really work for me. So this is what I have in mind. This is
I don't know, man. I just feel
according to the analytics, they don't really care about the.
Yeah. I'm curious, man. I would love to interview Tony Khan and ask him some of these
hard-hitting questions on the podcast.
Yeah, seriously, man. I would, because I'm really curious about the process, and like, just, you got a lot going on, Tony, even Vince McMahon himself said, "Hey, man, like all the hats he wore, he tried doing everything, and for the most part, he did a lot of this stuff himself. But they still did have a writing team. You know, they still did have a writing team and a crew of people that would, you know, like have these ideas. But at the end of the day, it all went through him. You know, like at the end of the day, it was about what
decision maker, right?
So
yeah, man. So that's
tough.
what Tony's
That's
doing.
tough, man.
That's what Tony's doing.
Tough.
He's doing something that's like, yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, thumbs up.
Because he's such a fan. Like I feel like he would. I feel like he wants to be cool. He wants to be like,
he wants to be part of the club. Hey, I grew up in the business.
Exactly. You know, like there's no. I think it's more collaborative, but I think that because it comes off as so like everything is just happening and they're not all like connected as much as they could be. But it is what it is.
Right. Shout out to Juggernaut 97. Did you guys watch Ring of Honor this week? I haven't even watched I think the first 2 episodes are out right now for Ring of Honor.
Yeah, Ring of Honor TV.
So yeah, I haven't watched it. Yep. And then at times I forget that Claudio is still Ring of Honor champion. I forget.
He's still the champ.
Yeah,
he's still the champ.
They gotta do better on that. They gotta remind us that he's the champ.
Yep.
Honorary Oos. What up?
Yeah.
Got my Cage IQ in the building. What up, man?
Let's move on to this next match here. We got the Texas Death Match. Hangman Adam Page versus Jon Moxley. So, this was the last one that I missed on the live stream.
Yep.
So, and I'd seen, like, right when I was coming on the stream, this match was ending. So I saw the end on my own before I logged in. So just to kind of give you my 2 cents on this, this match was wild, man. This match was wild. And I'll say, too, that from a story perspective, like, there were parts of this that were really good as far as the build up to this, because you had, you know, concussions involved, and which is always a scary thing. And it's very believable that would happen in the middle of a match, you know, and like, I feel like there was a work or shoot concussion that may have happened with Adam Hangman Page, and then a work one that happened with Jon Moxley to kind of balance it out, and leading up into this match here, you know, where we have these 2 guys just willing to do it all and take each other's heads off. I mean, what always kind of gets me though, well, before I get into some of the hardcore shit, shout out to Adam Hangman Page. He had kind of a new entrance and kind of a new feel to his entrance. I like that a lot. Him changing it up a little bit. That was pretty cool. And then Jon Moxley, commentary pointed out that he had kind of a different energy about him in this match. Like he knew, like, okay, I'm walking into something a little bit different here. This is a Texas Death Match. So it set up the scene really nice, where you had Hangman, you know, like kind of trying to amp up himself with this new presentation. And then Jon Moxley, who's usually amped up, coming out and almost being a little bit more reserved and controlled and like, okay, serious. And then the match, I mean, they went at it, man, from jump. And I mean, the amounts of barbed wires to the face, to the eyes, to the back, you know, wrapped around my arm, wrapped around my leg, like
wrap around your body.
Your body, yeah. Just all sorts of stuff. And then for these fans to still be chanting, "We want tables," I almost lost it. I'm saying, you guys need to shut up. Like, seriously. Like, these dudes
savages
giving you everything. Everything. They're already 2 seconds in. I mean, we already knew, you know, Jon Moxley was going to bleed. But, like, from the beginning, these 2 dudes are bleeding and they're throwing each other on.
I think I was right on the over-under.
And they're still saying, "We want tape." Calm down. They had the 2 chairs stacked up against each other. And Adam Hangman Page was getting ready to do that power bomb to him. And I said, if he lands in the middle, because he can't see, like literally, like he's just going blind and getting ready to power bomb him on these chairs. So I'm like, if he hits him spine first, like Jon Moxley could be done. Like that's his spine. Like this is, come on, guys. But he hit it on the side of the chair, which was perfect. So that sold me. I was like, you know, afraid for Jon Moxley watching that moment. And a lot of moments in the match, I was afraid for Adam Hangman Page, because I'm like, Jon Moxley's sick. He's got him in a triangle choke on the ground. He has the fork in his hand. And he's stabbing.
That was squeamish. I was like, it was right on the floor. I was like, bro.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy, man. So, you know, But at the same time, yes, it was crazy. Yes, it was blood and guts. They're just blood and guts. Yeah, like this is right. At times they are, but it was. I think what this show needed, as far as giving people that extra spectacle, like this felt like, oh my god, like okay, you're gonna go away from this show. You're gonna talk about that trios match. You're gonna talk about the main event. You're gonna talk about this match right here and how you saw things you never thought you would see people do to each other in a wrestling match. Like it was insane. I mean, even John taking the barbed wire and scraping the back of Adam Hangman Page. I was like, what the fuck? This is crazy. And you start seeing the blood pop up little by little on his skin. I'm like, this is a lot, man. What the hell?
It was half Boston Crab to Hangman Page on the barbed wire while he just got his leg. I was like, bro, this is.
Dude, it was crazy. But Hangman, like he kept at it. He kept going, and then at the end he had him. He hit him with he had the chain that John pulled into the matchup. So he wraps that around Jon Moxley's neck and has him, after he clotheslined him over the rope, then he's got him hanged up on the ropes, and I'm just like, oh my god, had him looking like Jabba the Hutt from Star Wars. Don't say that. What was that, 6? Like, tongue hanging out. Like, I'm like, oh shit. And then he tapped out, which there was a lot of tapping on this show too.
Oh yeah, a lot of tapping, a lot of quitting. I'm going home.
So yeah, man. Oh my god. Like, I don't think these guys could have put on a more gruesome, brutal matchup, short of fire being involved in this match, and I don't need that either. I was cool with what I saw. They gave me my money's worth with this matchup. Hangman won, which wow, great. Like as far as trying to build Hangman and put Hangman over, and John looked like a savage the whole time. So shout out to Jon Moxley. This one, as far as the grade, man, gosh, this is tough, man. I gave that trios match a 95. I'm like, I don't have too much more where to go.
Right.
I still got that main event.
Because that's a gauge right there. We go 93.
That was tough. Yeah. I'm going to say
94.
I'm going to say 97. I'm going to go 97 for this one. Yeah, it was that good, man. These two guys went out there, put on a banger. I was all for it. And even the story build up to this matchup, I felt was really good too. Yeah. I was invested. 97.
Wow. Okay. First of all, shout out to the chat one more time. If you just joining in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on both channels, because yes, we're doing the dual stream. So welcome to the Bloodline Network, Entertainment Network, and welcome to the Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. All right. Now, for this match. This is violent. I knew it was gonna get blood. I knew it was gonna get buckets of blood. In the end, it was a strong win for Adam Page. I liked it, especially making Moxley tap. So I was like, okay, that was a cool finish to the very violent match. I think I said going into this pay-per-view, the beginning of the build was hot, was cool, and it cooled off a little bit. So going off, so with this story, I wasn't really feeling it, but the match, yeah, it was, dude. I was like, oh my god, I got to turn around. I can't even look. And you got Jon Moxley with the fork, and he's just so vicious, stabbing Hangman in the forehead, and you see the blood, the splattered all over his chest. I'm like, it was just a bit much, but it was a solid match, but it was a bit much for me. I like. I'm a little bougie when it comes to wrestling. I like clean wrestling. All right. I like my superstars handsome, like my tribal chief right here. Matter of fact, we ain't even talk about my tribal chief. I say now one thing about my tribal chief right now. So get them ones up for your tribal chief. All right, right now. All right, because this man is leading the charge when it comes to bougie wrestling. All right. Shout out to everybody who love the bougie, clean.
This is AEW.
Clean wrestling.
AEW. Stay focused.
Hey, I'm focused. I'm focused on my tribal chief right now.
Oh my goodness.
But good match. It was a good match, man. It was a good match.
No,
I like the follow-up, actually. I was actually more impressed with the follow-up. on AEW the following week. Yeah, when I think, what was it? Heyman Page had a little side by side interview with Renee saying like, "Hey, best of luck to your husband. You know, it was a hard fight fought." But you see, Moxley, man, he don't like losing. Cause this dude was on like, man, fuck this. I'm a choke one of Heyman boys. Who was it? It was one of the Dark Order. He had him in a chokehold, and you know the match was already won. He just right there, backup coming, still got it in there. Was cool and was vicious about John. Heyman came out, but you still see John just. He held it in there until he got to the ring. So. This was a good switch up. Maybe this is what the BCC needed, man. They needed a little heel change, a little attitude readjustment.
I'm saying it sounds very heelish.
Yeah.
I can see it. I mean, you know, we'll see where they go. Hopefully, I mean, story not being their strong suit, but just overall the viciousness and like just great matches that they put on. I feel like, well, let me take a step back from that, actually, when I say story isn't their strong suit. In-ring storytelling is a strong suit for the AEW wrestlers. Like, in-ring, I feel like they do a great job of being able to, like, tell a story, engage the audience with what they're saying right then and there. It's the behind-the-scenes, the bigger picture story, the promo kind of story that they lack in. But in-ring storytelling and, you know, having people engaged in the matches, they are elite when it comes to that. Like, I'm gonna give them full kudos for that. So stuff like that you're talking about with Jon Moxley, like making sure he's like really holding on to that choke, you know, and like showing that viciousness. Yeah. Like, they know how to do that. Those individual wrestlers do know how to tell a story like that in the ring. And, you know, that's one thing, too. I feel like anybody watching AEW, you kind of have to be a fan of that, you know, to really enjoy, you know, what you're seeing with AEW. WWE, they tell their stories in a little bit of a different way. AEW and WWE, too, in-ring storytelling is elite as well. Like, a lot of these wrestlers here, they know how to tell a story with their facial expressions, with, you know, being technical, targeting certain spots of the body, and then, like, keeping that going as part of the overall tale that the match is telling. AEW guys do that too, you know, so storytelling wise, in ring, I would say, yes, they got it. Big picture is where a lot of times it's lacking unless you're a guy like a Chris Jericho, a Jon Moxley, a MJF.
Yeah, shout out to the chat. Look who we got in the building. Johnny Autism Wrestling. Who is the Tribal Chief again? You know who is the Tribal Chief, and this is a perfect segue to remind you, Johnny.
You there, sitting at home, acknowledge me.
I was like, well,
I think it was a delay. It was delay on mine. It was still playing. So
it was still playing. Okay, it was over for me. I'm like, wait, why is he still paused?
Little delay on me. Yeah.
Oh man, well, Johnny, welcome in, man. Welcome in. Happy to see you here.
Welcome in, Saturday, man. Here you go.
Yes.
Solo.
On that, from Solo to Wardlow, Joe. We had Wardlow versus Samoa Joe for the TNT Championship. Okay. So this matchup here, I think just until the ending of the match, the match was fine.
Yep.
Match was fine. Where they lose me, and also too, I love Joe mocking the
Powerbomb Symphony.
Symphony.
Power.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, like, I love that. That was awesome. Now, Wardlow, commentary even said it. His forte, not submissions. That is not his thing. So I think it's safe to say he's probably never subbed a guy in AEW. Never happened. Samoa Joe, this is what he's known for. He puts people to sleep. That's what he does. Okay. Very experienced, guy, tenured guy in wrestling overall. And the last thing you would think would happen would be Wardlow submitting Joe. You would think Joe would submit Wardlow. Sure. You could see that happening. But Wardlow submitting Joe, just that alone, I'm like, huh? But not just that. It's not just Wardlow submitting Joe. It's Wardlow submitting Joe with Joe's own finisher.
Yeah.
That never happens. You don't ever really see people using the other guy's finisher to finish a match. Typically, when that happens, there's near falls. He's there and he's kind of mocking him. And it's like the worst thing in the world that could happen for you to be submitted to your own finisher or you to be beaten, pin 1, 2, 3 by your own finish. When Sami Zayn hit the Tribal Chief with the Superman punch, it's like, okay, he can't finish it with that. Like, no, come on now, no. But then, the Alula kick, okay, fine, that's cool. Blue Thunder Bomb, sure. You can, all right, but beating somebody with their own finisher, no. So that's the part where when it happened here, it just kind of took me out of the reality of the matchup. It just felt like they did it just to do it, just to put Wardlow over as this guy who's like, oh, he's the new champ. He's the guy. He's better than Joe. He submitted Joe. That decision was just off. It was just off. If he would have just beat him with a powerbomb or beat him with the Symphony, cool. That would have made a lot of sense. We could all bought into it. We'd have been fine. But here we are talking about, he just not just beat Joe, submitted Joe. And not just submitted Joe with his own finisher, who, by the way, he has never been known as a submission guy, and he's never submitted anybody in AEW.
So it's no history. So he
again, when I talk about earned, right? I talked about with Christian Cage and like the story and like him not earning that believability. This is another point where it's like, I can't buy into this. I'm all the belief of this is gone because this guy has no legitimacy as a submission wrestler, and he's submitting a submission wrestler. It's like for instance, in UFC and MMA, Israel Adesanya, love him. Some people hate him, love him. Fellow Nigerian stand up. Yep. Great. I love watching him. I will be damned if I ever believe that Israel Adesanya is going to submit anybody, let alone a submission. He's not even going to try that shit. He's not going to go to the ground with a submission specialist. He's trying to stay on the feet.
About these hands.
He's going to use his hands. You know damn well he's not going to the ground because he's going to get reversed and fuck up, and he's going to get submitted. So why would you take that chance with Joe? And then why am I supposed to believe this is actually happening? Nah, man. Nah. So that alone right there.
Experienced veteran who has experience in submissions got took out by a rookie about his first time. What? What? Let's just talk about it. Because you already talked about Wardlow and Samoa Joe. The fact he only held that title for 3 fucking days.
Now Hobbs is champ. I mean, granted, there's some shenanigans,
we
right?
We had a title change.
Yeah. I said, man, personally, I do love the fact that Hobbs is champ. So shout out to Powerhouse Hobbs. Well deserved for him being champion. But
that title don't mean
Wardlow being champion for 3 days. Why even do this? Why not just have Joe beat Wardlow and then have Hobbs beat Joe? Like just do that. Because this doesn't make Wardlow look good at all.
No,
it's
man.
not believable the way he won.
Just like Wardlow did. Just like that. Like, that would have made sense. QT come out with the chair to Samoa Joe. All right, cool. Protected loss.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we're gonna flip it. You're gonna flip it, man.
I don't know. That was weird. Again, shout out to Hobbs.
Passed around, man.
Shout out to Hobbs. Yeah. And then the whole thing. So the whole thing with someone breaking into his car is that real?
I think so.
right? So I felt like that was real, like him actually getting the championship stolen and then his gear was stolen. It was crazy, right? So I mean, hey, shout out to Wardlow. Sorry that happened. That shouldn't happen to anybody. So that sucks.
Yeah, it
right?
sucks. I've been there before.
And then like to lose the championship right after you just won it. Like, I don't know, man. That was weird. So the match, right? And as far as a grade, I mean, I'm gonna throw this in the same category as Jungle Boy and Christian Cage. And it's lucky it doesn't get a lower score, but I do have a lot of respect for Joe. This was a travesty though. Like without that is another situation where I got to docket 10 points just because of some bullshit that happened where logic this unearned shit gets thrown in just for the hell of it. Let's just have Wardlow submit Joe. Then at this point, if you're doing that, you need to start submitting everybody. Because if you can submit Joe, now that's your new.
You should be able to take out Hobbs then. Why?
Yes. What is going on? No. Submit Hobbs.
Submit Hobbs.
Just choke him out, and then he can't answer the 10 count. Cool. Yeah. Like I'm good with that. But no, that's not your thing. Like that was a one and done. Really?
Shout out to the Geek Show podcast. The TNT title keeps getting changed up like the girls from 3L Dub. God damn.
Wow, not everybody's gonna know 3L Dub, but yes.
Yeah, they're showing their age. And I
know, right? It's funny because when I think of 3LW, I think of NBA Street. I think they were the voices that you would hear. Like, you know how in NBA Jam, it'd be like, boom, shakalaka. Yeah. For them, it was like serving it up. You know, like they would say like all the
that's right. Yep.
Oh, shit. Yeah, man. Oh, I miss NBA Street. But anyway, QT. Yeah, QT is the ultimate X factor. I get, you know, like it worked out in Hobbs' favor, you know, and that's cool. And I'm okay on Hobbs' side. Hobbs did nothing wrong. He went out there, he won the Face of the Revolution match, the ladder match. He went the next week on Dynamite, beat the champion, became the new TNT champion. Perfect. From Hobbs' standpoint, I'm great. Yeah, Street Volume 2 was a shit. Yes, it was. Man, I gotta get an emulator or something and play that game, man. Like I love that game. Both 1 and 2, amazing. But I just feel like from the Joe Wardlow match, it just like why? Just why? So yeah, I'm giving a 75%. I don't know which one of these two matches between the Christian Cage and Jungle Boy match. You know what? No, I think
this match was worse.
This match was worse. I'm dropping the score a little bit. I'm going to a 70. Fuck it.
There you go.
I'm going to a 70. 70% is a low C at best. Like, man, that was bad. That was bad.
Pure trash. So. Didn't like it. I hated the follow up. Congrats to Hobbs, but
congrats to Hobbs. No, that's the best part about this.
He needs.
Uh-oh. You still there? It froze up a little bit. Oh, your audio's gone.
Hold on.
Oh, there you back.
I'm back.
Yeah,
okay.
I heard you now. Yeah.
Okay. Froze up. Man.
Yeah, you froze up and then the audio was going, but you back now.
Okay. My fault. That's on me.
No, you good.
On me. I'm just saying, I'm just so irritated because of the follow-up with the TNT title. Like, congrats to Hobbs, but you know, I just don't care about the title. I don't. I really don't. Shout out to Pepsi Phil. He made a good point in the Clarkshire Wrestling Facebook group. He said right now the ACC or it's the international title has more legitimacy than the TNT title. And I'm like, well,
Orange Cassidy, man.
He been held. He held it for a while.
Yep. He's had a lot of
three title changes with the TNT title now.
In a very short amount of time. 2 in the matter of 3 days. So yeah, that's what they do now. Ivan, I know, is sitting there saying, "Yep, 24/7 championship,"
Oh
And,
yeah, that's what he said. Yep, it is decided.
It's getting hard.
It is.
It's getting hard to argue against it. I'm very literal with that comparison, so I'm like, man, it's not quite that. But I see in spirit, you're right. In spirit, you're right that it is very
around there.
Yeah. I saw someone put up there Def Jam Vendetta over NBA Street. That's tough, man. That's like choosing between, two just amazing products right there, man. Like both of those were amazing. Both of those part of my childhood. Def Jam for Vendetta was the shit. That was the shit. And as a wrestling fan and as a THQ wrestling fan, Def Jam Vendetta was awesome. So, that's tough. That's tough. I love both of them, though. All right, let's move on. Let's move on from that matchup there. Let's go to this Fatal 4-Way. The AEW World Tag Team Championships were defended by the Guns. They went against the Acclaimed, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, Triple J, and Orange Cassidy, the aforementioned newly named international champion, Orange Cassidy, and Danhausen. So, yeah, this was just pure entertainment. I mean, that's
all it was.
Pure entertainment. Yeah, comedy, entertainment, and then there was some fun action too overall. But really, this was just like, let's just be entertaining as fuck. And they went out there and they did it. There's not really much as far as like breaking it down. Going into story and all that. The only disappointing thing from a story perspective is that we didn't focus on Guns and the Acclaim, but it feels like that's done. Like that's over and done with, especially with the aftermath. So that was the one missed point there, but purely entertaining. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more the second time because I saw it with you guys. But then when I was rewatching it, I actually watched the whole thing and I watched this match again. And I feel like I actually enjoyed it more the second time because the first time I was very hung up on the fact that it wasn't just a one-on-one match. But once I just kind of accepted that in the second time around, I enjoyed the match even more so than just saying, hey, it is what it is. And I feel like Orange Cassidy, it still kills me when he was mocking Jeff Jarrett with the slow walk. Like that was crazy. Like Jeff Jarrett was so mad. He was so irritated with him mocking him. But Orange is just that dude. I'm gonna say it. He's a superstar. Like Orange Cassidy is a superstar.
Yes, I give him that.
Just any company, if he went to WWE, I think that man would be gold. Like it would be amazing. It'd be great. So shout out to Orange Cassidy, man. Like he has it for sure. In the end, I should say, the Guns did retain. They are still your AEW Tag Team Champions. Then we had the return of FTR. FTR basically mopped the floor with them, leading into a potential matchup for those AEW titles. Which I think that'll be good. And I think from a story perspective, there is a lot there that they can lean from, from when even the FTR were the champions of ROH and they showed up, the Guns showed up a couple times and were like interfering and just like getting into their heads and, mocking them. And so, I feel like that could be a lot of fun. So looking forward to that. The Guns versus FTR, grade wise. This one, I'm going to say, I'm going to give it let's give it a
professional wrestling.
83. I'm saying 83. Yeah.
Struggling right there. You were struggling.
That's tough because I'm looking at like that first matchup, Ricky Starks and Chris Jericho, I gave an 85. Do I see it on that same level? Did I enjoy it as much as I enjoyed that match? It's close, but I love the fact that we really are building a star in Ricky Starks. I guess I love the fact that they're building stars in the Guns now. Like, you know what? I'm gonna put
I like that.
I'm 85. I'm gonna say
85. Okay,
because the Guns
2 points, extra 2 points,
building them. I'm gonna give them 2 more points because the Guns. I like the Guns now. Like I'm bought into the Guns as far as like let's make them like legitimate champions. I want to see. I'm sorry, FTR, but I don't want you to win those titles.
So they're not transitional champions. Not transitional. You feel like do you feel like they're transitional champions?
No. At least I'm rooting for them not to be. I want the Guns to really piss people off and hold on to those titles for months. Yes. For months. Yes. Like, let's go 6 months straight, Guns as champions. Let's go. Hey, you want to go a year? Let's do it. That'll really piss people off. Like, how are the Guns still champions? Yes, that's what I want. I want the Guns to stay champs. Let's go. Oh man. So yeah, that's it. So 85 that matchup.
Okay, it is decided. I think you broke it well. My input is it was just a fun match. I really enjoyed it. I like Danhausen, Orange Cassidy. Their chemistry was off the chain, especially entertaining. You know, you got Orange Cassidy doing like this slow winding arm wheel thing, and you got just Danhausen doing like 3 clotheslines in the corner as you just got Orange Cassidy going real slow. So like, funny. Yeah, I'm gonna get there.
Even by the time he got there, he didn't even do the clothesline. He just grabbed him and threw him the other way.
Yeah, shout out to Orange Cassidy.
Love it. It's great. Hey man. Yeah. Comedy and wrestling, like it makes sense. Needed. A lot of times it makes sense. You want to have your drama now. You want to have your serious matches, but also too, you can mix that in with shit like this, where it's just comedy. That's great.
I'm with you, brother.
Yes, sir. I
appreciate it.
So yeah, hey, we're there. We're at the main event. So let's talk about it. For the AEW World Championship, for Triple B, a 60-minute Iron Man match. The challenger, Bryan the American Dragon Danielson, versus Maxwell Jacob Friedman, the devil himself. I'm better than you, and you know it. MJF.
I guess.
Whew. I will not tolerate this blasphemy from you, sir.
What I say?
Put some respect. You said, I guess. Put some respect on Maxwell Jacob Friedman's name. Put respect on his name. This man went out there and did what many people thought he wouldn't be able to do, and that is go toe-to-toe in a 60-minute Iron Man match with Bryan Danielson and make it a classic. He made it a classic. And what makes it even better, this man, it's so funny because I follow Max on Instagram and I saw the training and I didn't even think, oh yeah, this is, going to tie into the Iron Man match. But it did, because it's like this dude said, hey, I prepared myself for this. People were saying I couldn't do it. I'm hearing all these people talk shit. Oh, he's only good on the mic. He can't do it in the ring. Fuck that. I'm going to show him. I'm going to get myself right. And he came out there with the violins, the piano playing, the intro was dope as fuck. Violins come out. They start playing this shit. He comes out with the devil mask, hitting back to when he made his return after he called Tony Khan a fucking mark. Then he's oh my god, and again, poor Bryan Danielson. Why does this always have to happen to Bryan Danielson, where people are debuting new raw ass shit on him in title matches? Like, it's just, it happened with the Tribal Chief. He brought in that badass music with the choir and all that, and then here comes Max with the violins and the piano and the mask and the on point. They go 60 minutes. These dudes put on a classic. I watched the whole thing again. I saw it with you guys, and I sat through 60 minutes again, and I saw it, and I had more appreciation for it, even the second time. So I'm like, wow, this is actually how I remember this happened, and I can sit down and watch it and be like, yeah, I don't feel like I'm wasting my time. I don't feel like I need to fast forward. I feel like there's things here where I'm like, I am enjoying this. They're telling a great story within the match. The whole time where Max was going and getting people to the trials or tribulations or whatever of Bryan Danielson, we'll call it, where he has to go through guy after guy after guy. He told people, he's like, hey man, I need you to injure him. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. Getting that shoulder worked over, setting up that in this matchup, he's going to go after that shoulder. He's going to go after that arm. And even Bryan Danielson put himself in precarious situations, jumping off of the side of the apron and then landing on the hard barricade that you talked about. Dude, it was amazing. It was amazing. Just the way that they put this together for the first 30 minutes or so, 25 minutes, no falls. And then we get the first fall from Bryan Danielson. It hits the psycho knee. Cool, 1, 2, 3. He's like, hey, there's no breaks, and they were great. Excalibur was great about this. Hey, look, there are no breaks, right? So they're gonna keep going continuously. So Bryan's like, oh, he's still loopy. Fuck it, get up. Then here comes, Ivan. Shout out to you. You did call it 4-3. You know, like Max, he's getting up, he falls over. And then Bryan's like, oh, you know, this dude, like, he's tired, he's done, he's already spent. What happened to all that cardio? What's going on? Max did something I hadn't seen done really in any of these Iron Man matches. He said, you know what? Actually, I think we did see it with in NXT once before with Adam Cole, but as far and not Iron Man, but I think it was 2 out of 3. But anyway, we had Max hit the low blow, got himself disqualified, but then got 2 quick pins to tie it up. Golly, what? And then he goes out and he's such a great heel. He's getting the water, he pours the water all over himself. I'm like, dude, what? Like, you need all this water. And Taz too said, hey man, you getting all that water, like that's actually not good. I would tell him not to do it because you get that water in your system, you're actually gonna blow yourself up and you might actually be more tired because you get that water in your belly. I'm like, okay, Taz, all right. But Max is like, fuck it, I'm tired, man. Like, give me some water. So he pours it on himself. That was awesome. Just great heel. And then, yeah, man, these two, they did crazy moves. Tombstone pile drivers off the top rope to Daniel Bryan. Insanity. Like, just so many crazy moments. They ended up getting 2 more victories against each other. Tied up 3-3. They go to sudden death, right? Or actually, no. First match is over. And you're like, oh, and again, great heel move. And shout out to everybody involved in this because they brought up the oxygen tank for MJF. He needs oxygen. Why does he need oxygen?
That I enjoyed. He was laying out.
He was done. You know, but he won, right? He's won the match. He did everything. You know, he won. Daniel had him in his submission, and then Max tapped after it went to 0, so it was what it was. But yeah, he needed oxygen, and then Bryan Danielson gets up. He's like, "What is this? What is this? Let's go! Get him up! Get him up!" And of course, Tony's like, "Oh, hold on! Oh, I'll be happy to deliver this message."
I'm getting news.
Hey man, Tony Khan is saying he cannot let this end this way. So you need to tell them that this is going to continue in sudden death rules. And, you know, they're the ref and the announcer gathered together. Is it Tony Khan? Tony Khan said that. Oh, okay. They make the announcement. Tony Khan won't let him in, blah, blah, blah. Sudden death. Max is up. He's like, what? He's barely conscious. What? And he's mad at the ref. He's in the corner. He's barking at him. Ref pushes him away. Bryan Danielson rolls him up. 1-2, kick out. What the hell? Then Max says, fuck this. Rolls him up, grabs a tight 1-2. He kicks out. Amazing. And then he goes to grabs his championship. He says, nah, you know what? Screw it. And the ref is like, go ahead, do it. I'll disqualify you. Try it. Go do it. I wish you would. He's like, yeah, okay.
Try me.
All right.
Try me.
Yeah. He's like, all right. You're right. Here you go. And then the ref is like, thank you. He grabs the belt. He's like, this motherfucker, I got the ring, bitch. So he goes to hit Bryan with the ring in his forehead. Bryan ducks it, hits a poison rana, which I was like, oh, damn. I can't remember the last time I even seen Bryan do a poison rana, but that was sick. That was awesome. And it's like, okay, well, this is done. And then I think he put him in a submission again. And Max was like, you know, biting on his fist and trying to like not tap out. And
I think he pounded the ground too.
Oh yeah, he pounded the ground for 2 seconds. And you both, when we saw live, we were like, that looks like a tap. It's like that was a frustrated tap. Like, I don't know. I would have accepted if they would have said, yeah, he won. I mean, I'm sorry, you tapped.
Right,
but
you tapped.
They said he
going
tap.
like this.
But then he was smart. He got to the ropes. He put his finger on the rope, but then he started tapping after he put his finger on the rope. So Bryan thought, oh, okay, he tapped out.
I won.
Yes. The referee's like, no. He didn't tap. He got the rope. He's like, what? Meanwhile, Max got this damn oxygen tank that they brought up from earlier. You're like, And the camera catches him. And then Brian's like, where'd he go? Where'd he go? Bonk. It's hard as fuck. Brian is loopy. He's done. He's out of there. Max hides the evidence. Ref is like, what happened? What happened, guys? What happened? And Max puts him basically in this is another one. In Brian's submission. He put him in his submission. And Brian, at first, they raised his hand up 1, they raised it up 2. When he got to 3, no, he did not tap out. Then he's trying to, oh, by the way, I missed that there was a moment where he did the yes chant in the match for the first time, which was amazing. That's never happened in AEW where Brian starts the yes chant. Usually the crowd does it on their own, but he actually cued for it. So here again, when he was in the submission, he was like, with his fist, like trying to get them to say yes, yes. In the crowd, they got into it, yes, yes, yes. And then he's like, yes. And then he faded, but he didn't pass out. Tapped out. He tapped his forearm. Oh my God. And then Max is like, I told you, I'm the best in the world. I'm the best in the world. I told you. And Max gets to talk his shit. I'm sorry. He does. He gets to talk his shit. He said, look, man, I'm going to send you. He was even during the match monologuing this dude. Hey, Birdie, I told you it was going to happen. Look at him. I told you. And Brian is bleeding. He's like, he's not going to be able to hold you. He's not going to be able to hold you. I told you. Dude, in the press conference, this man's eating pickles. This is a good pickle. By the way, fuck all of you for thinking that I can do this.
Damn, this is a good pickle.
It's a good pickle. He was enjoying these. He's like, you back there. You want to try this pickle? Yes, you. Get your ass over here and have a pickle. He made the guy have a pickle. That's good, right? That's good, right? Go get the fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of my face.
Max is on one. That man, dude, he did his thing. Brian, there was a video that Brian put out where he's like, look, all this time I've been thinking like this is the right thing to do, to keep fighting. But now I'm thinking like maybe I was wrong. Maybe, yeah, it's time to go home. So he's going to be off TV for a while. Brian, it was emotional. And Brian, I mean, he's a master at this when it comes to the storytelling and the emotion and getting people to care. He's
right.
Yeah,
right.
He's a master, but
I'm gonna go home.
Maxwell, Jacob, I love too when he was saying, at this point, what else does there need to be? People keep saying I can't do this, I can't wrestle, yet I go out there and I do what I do and I put on a show. What else do I have to do? I am the most complete wrestler in the world. On the mic, in the ring, I am the most complete wrestler in the world. And I'm like, Max, talk your shit. Talk your shit. At this point, I am willing to accept that, yes, when it comes to mic work, you're elite. When it comes to wrestling, you're elite. Like, sir, you are all elite for sure. You are their guy. You are that dude. I'm putting respect on his name. Maxwell Jacob motherfucking Friedman is that dude, the most complete wrestler in the world today, doing that, putting on that banger, match of the year candidate. Just, you got it, sir. Salute.
Wow. Well done, sir. Well breakdown. I could tell you, I was like, I'm gonna let you have this. You marking out. This is all you, sir.
I was, dude.
I was like, go get your MJF shirt, put it right behind you.
Oh, yeah, man. That Burberry scarf might be showing up. I don't know. I'm a fan. I am a fan. He also showed up on Impractical Jokers. I haven't seen the episode yet. I saw a small clip, but he had a part in there too, which was pretty cool. Yeah, he gave one of the dudes a chop, and that was
the
it looked
like
funny.
didn't really care,
I gotta check that out. But yeah, man. Any comments? And be respectful. Be respectful. Yes.
I am gonna be respectful.
Okay.
Don't worry. I got this. All right. Measure
your words, sir.
All right, hold on. All right, okay. All right, the match was fine. I was
fine.
What?
Fine. It was a 60-minute banger. It was not just fine. Stop it.
Okay,
Stop it. No, I will not let this. I will not allow it. I will not allow it. Not today.
You're entitled to your opinion.
No,
sir.
no,
You can have
no.
it.
This is the opinion right now. This is the opinion. It was a banger. It was a banger. Yes, I'm saying it. Shout out to Bryan Danielson and Maxwell Jacob Freeman. You got to say it. It was a banger. Nice. Get the fuck. It was a banger.
It was passable. Okay.
Passable.
It was
passable.
It was a solid match. A good 60 Iron Man banger.
Banger.
Yeah, it was
not passable. There you go. Banger.
Passable banger. All right.
No.
60-minute
no.
Banger.
No. Disrespect.
All right.
Banger.
It was a good match. Now.
Jesus Christ.
If he was to ask me, do you think this a match you'll remember? Maybe. I don't know, because I wasn't invested in the story. The story was fucking weak. You can say the last 2 weeks. Oh, the last 2 weeks of this story. Oh, yeah. Cool. That worked for you. But this story is, we already know about MJF and his, the trials of MJF and all of that. Didn't help. Same old character, still talking the same old shit. Nothing, no different variation from it. All right. But cool. You did some cool wrestling with a cool wrestler named Bryan Danielson.
Cool wrestling with a cool
thumbs up. All right, guy. You had a fantastic match. Congrats. You get an applause from me. Still got a long way to go.
What was a better match, Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, or this match?
Why would you even?
I'm asking the question because I'm curious what you're gonna say.
But you sure already know the answer. Why are you playing?
No, I don't know the answer because I'm having a real problem with there's a right answer and there's a wrong answer. One of them is going to be match of the year, and the other one is going to be known more for what happened after the match.
This would be match of the year. You're talking about almost damn near 3 years as champion.
No. That's what I'm asking. You said this is a passable match, a passable banger. So I'm asking you a direct question, sir. Between the match between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, and the match between MJF and Bryan Danielson, which was the better match?
So since I'm listening to you correctly, I'm going to stick within the wrestling. You said it's a wrestling match. We're going to keep it within that realm. No stories included, just the wrestling, okay? So since we're going to do that, all right, so since it's just the wrestling and no stories, sure, it was exciting. Yeah, MJF, he got that. All right. If we want to do this, if we want to grade this by a grading scale of wrestling, all right, cool. But what did I say? What does matter to me? Stories matter to me in my professional wrestling. You know why? Because they help me remember and make it important for me because of the stories. If I don't get that, you give me an awesome match, cool, but I'll hardly remember that. Maybe 5, 6, 8 months from now. I don't know. Can we be?
Let me ask you this.
Can it be the following year? And I'll be like, hey, I don't even remember.
You remember the TLC match between the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian?
Of course.
What was the story?
That I have to recall the story. But I just remember.
But you remember that match?
Yeah, because I was a kid, bro. That's
same here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when you say you're not going to remember the match because of the story, the story with those three guys, basically, they had matches separately, and then they came together and put together one of the most amazing matches and something new that we hadn't seen. And so that alone,
because you had the Hardys, who was the ladders, you had the Edge and Christian, the chair guys, you had that story.
So just the fact that they had an amazing match made it something memorable. So you can have an amazing match and throw out the story. Just the fact that the match itself is amazing is enough to make it memorable. This idea that because there wasn't this fantastic story that was just mind-blowing, like we're not going to remember this match, and I said it earlier on in this show, that these AEW where I will say that they're elite when it comes to storytelling is in-ring storytelling. The storytelling in the ring.
I agree with that too, but that doesn't matter when
during the match. But
stories matter.
But well, hold on. But like even with the TLC match, like the way that they told a tale and told a story within that match also helps to enhance that match. Like little things that they're doing with Jeff Hardy hanging up on the championship and Edge hitting that spear. Like it's just those moments, it just all matters. And you're making it seem like the only type of wrestling that you can ever say is great is the wrestling where you have this long-term storytelling that happens. Like
that's not true, because I give FTR their dues too, because they're one of the best in-ring storytellers. Even when they have a weak story, for some reason, I guess the style of wrestling they present is easier for me to remember. So they have strong in-ring storytelling matches that I can remember because of that. But I don't know, MJF.
Like man. The Briscoes versus FTR, great match, awesome match.
Everybody else,
but like this match, to say that about FTR, but then to say that, will we remember Bryan Danielson versus MJF 60-minute Iron Man match? And to say, oh, maybe, like that's just
hold on. I'm not speaking for everybody else. All right, so you can't say like
no. But just what you said though. You said, will you remember? Will we remember it? You said, well,
I said for me, sir. I said I'm gonna speak for me because I said it's my personal opinion. Because you was the one that got all in it. Like it's the opinion. It's the opinion. Nah, I should hit you with a solo for that. Saying it's the opinion. Nah, it's my opinion. My opinion. Your opinion. My opinion. All right, and that is that.
Well, you saying that it won't be a memorable match because you didn't say, well, I'm thinking it's not going to be memorable to me.
I said, could it be? Would it be?
Will this be a memorable match? Maybe. That's what you said.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. So I left a room for me to be wrong. I didn't say it's an absolute. I won't remember this match. I did not say that.
But even saying that is so like. This is where your hate gets out of control. You won't allow yourself to just be able to say, hey, they put on a banger of a match, and this match was great, and this match was a match of the year candidate. You just have to hold on to the fact, well, this is AEW. AEW sucks. AEW storytelling sucks. I can't give AEW that props for this because they didn't tell a long-term storytelling with Max and with Bryan Danielson that I enjoyed. I can't look at this match and just say the 60-minute Iron Man match was great on its own, and it was a banger, and they did a hell of a job, and they told a great story in the ring, in the match. Like, you have everybody that was watching the live stream that was just enjoying it, and you just decided, I'm just going to be like, yeah, no, it wasn't that great. What?
Cool. I'm supposed to be all in my panties when somebody don't agree, when somebody, the tribal chief is not the greatest in the world, and I'm supposed to be like, what do you mean it's not the greatest in the world? No, I don't care. I don't care. It's my opinion. I think he's the greatest in the world. That's what matters to me. You can say he's not the greatest, cool, and we can move on. Just because I feel indifferent about the main event match, I'm entitled to that, bro. Okay, It is what it is. And I left room for error. I said, could I remember this match 6, 8, 10 months from now? Maybe. I don't know. I didn't put no definite. I didn't say it like, bro, there's no way I'm gonna remember this match. That's you assuming that. That's you because you getting.
I didn't say no. I'm not saying that you're not gonna remember this match. You said, will this match be memorable? Maybe. That's what you said as a very general thing. And the fact that you're saying that about a match like this, like, it's just unnecessary. It's just unnecessary. It's like a shot to me, that you're taking at AEW just to take the shot. It's unnecessary.
It goes back to what I like in my wrestling. I always said storytelling. Are there some matches that I remember without storytelling? Yeah, sure, but they are hard for me to remember. It's easier for me. That's just the way my brain works, bro. I can't help it that you get all get all mad because
And again,
I'm not
and
with the
reason
majority.
why
This is the best match.
But here's the thing, and where I'll hold you to the fire is I gave you a clear example of a match that I know damn well you can't tell me the story of, but you remember it, and that's the TLC match. And it's like, you can't say that like, oh, it's because the stories that you remember these matches. That is not the truth for every match that is a great, memorable match. It's not.
Man, that's opinion, bro. I'm not saying
It's not
that's
opinion.
fact.
You said you could not tell me the story of the TLC match, but you remember it. That's not opinion. That's real. That just happened.
And then when you just reminded about the story, and then I just finished it off, I'm like, oh well, yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, just reminded me like about the Hardys and being the table guys, and not the table guys, the ladder guys, and
Is that
the
a
Christian
story?
chair guys.
That's not a story.
The story they was telling, they was presenting, yeah. First TLC
we're
match.
the table guys and we're the ladder guys, and that's not a story.
So that's not a story now?
That they're the table guys.
You
and they're
just
the
told me
guys?
that was a story, and now you're saying now you want to say that's not a story.
No. That's not no. What I said was first of all, you're the one that brought up that they were the table guys and that they were ladder guys. I said that they had matches within each other mixed up. I didn't say anything about ladders and tables. I said they had matches. Again, you can go back and watch the tape. Long story short, you, sir, said you couldn't even remember that match. You couldn't remember the stories, but you remember the match. There are memorable matches that don't have those stories attached to them. You could just have a great match, and it's just like, hey, this match is memorable because on its own, it's an amazing match. And we all have that. We have matches that we remember because of the stories, but we also have matches that we remember just because they were great matches.
I just said that too. I just said there's some matches without stories that I can remember, but it makes it hard for me to remember those matches too as well. But the way I love wrestling when I get a story with it, because it enhances the wrestling and it makes a beautiful story, and it makes it like it creates an emotional moment that I can remember for years down the road. Like if I don't know, I just say I don't know if just something maybe 6, 8, I don't know, 5 years from now, what I recall, and well, maybe I will because we're having a debate now, but that's the only reason with it. But just to say, oh, can I remember Bryan Danielson and MJF? I don't know.
Especially with,
I'm not saying a definite answer. I'm just saying I don't know, because that's me being real about, because I'm not gonna get something how I know how I know, not just how I know, how I feel about wrestling when it comes to wrestling. You already know I love stories. I lead with stories.
I mean,
all right. When we break down wrestling, I always break down the.
But we both love story. Like that's fine. I don't think there's any debate around like loving story. It's just right now, like literally this match happened less than a week ago, right? This literally just happened. And for us to be talking about maybe we won't remember this match right now after this match just happened, after the way that it like that's where I go to. Is kind of like, why are we even bringing up, oh, maybe we won't remember? It's like, it was a great match. It was a banger of a match. They did a great, phenomenal job with the match. What, like the fact that we're even talking about maybe it won't be remembered, it's like, okay. So to even take this a little bit further for how I look at some of this stuff here too. To say that to me is actually kind of disrespectful to the work put in by Bryan Danielson and by MJF, two people who put that match together, and to say like, it may not be a memorable match.
It's just
like
okay, fine.
It's
just my personal
speaking for
opinion,
myself,
bro.
so fine. Like you let me talk about this. So the way I feel about it is, all these wrestlers here putting together these matches and doing what they're doing and putting their blood, sweat, and tears out there, or they are like busting their asses. And we talked about it with Bryan Danielson. He's basically, when he goes out there every time, he's risking his life doing this, because if he falls the wrong way and hurts his neck again, who knows? The dude was told he should never wrestle again, and now he's doing it because he got cleared. But we all have that fear of like, oh man, like, so Bryan Danielson, MJF, they go out there, they put on this match, and storytelling wise, we already know. We were watching it, and we can see the man's getting dropped on his neck. it's like he's getting put. They told the story about the shoulder. We know his history of the injuries, and then here's MJF going and attacking all that and trying to break this guy down and telling his kids, "Hey, he's not gonna be able to hold you. I told you, Bertie, he's doing all that." And I'm gonna sit here and try to say something like it's not gonna be memorable when they just went out there and did something like that. If it was one of those things. If it was one of those things where it's a regular matchup happening, whatever, you didn't like the match, cool. But we know, like, you
No, I already know what you're tripping on. You're tripping on my opinion, bro. So you could have it. You can have that, bro. Because all I'm saying is about the story is, hey, the story wasn't strong enough, and possibly it could lead up to for me to have a tough time to remember this match. I didn't put it definite because you keep on saying, so let me be clear. Because you keep on saying like, oh, you're saying that you won't remember this match. Let me be crystal clear. I didn't say that. I said it's a possibility. I left room for error, okay? All right? Let me finish, brother. Let me finish. Let me finish, brother.
That's fine. All right. You just cut me off just a second ago to go and all this, and now you're saying let me finish. I just want to throw that out there right now. I'm just saying, just so we're on the same page.
I let you have it, bro.
All right, cool.
You going in? I let you have it.
Cool.
I'm just saying.
I just want to make sure that that's understood. That you cut me off, and now you're saying don't cut me off. So I just want to make sure.
I didn't say.
No, you good. You good. Keep going.
I'm just saying is I just find.
Keep going. You good.
This is a hell of a debate. I just find it very funny is that this is my opinion, and that the fact that I don't agree with the majority of, oh, this is a awesome in-ring storytelling, that this is something you can remember. Cool. I'm not even disagreeing with you. I'm saying, cool, that can work. That's your opinion. You can have that. I'm not saying you ain't supposed to remember this. This is because of the lack of the storytelling, because how I feel. You can have that, bro. When it worked for you, it worked for you. I'm just saying I'm very strong on storytelling because of the emotional link that has it with it. Some in-ring can have that, cool. But this was just all about more violence and aesthetics for 60 minutes. Cool. Did it have a story? Yeah, it did, but it was just something I wasn't all in tune with it. I wasn't feeling it. It wasn't like I was, I don't know, maybe something similar to the Tribal Chief with some of his bouts that I feel like very emotional, invested into it. Like, but I didn't with this. It was a fine match, fine wrestling match, cool wrestling with cool wrestlers. Okay, and I will leave it at that, sir. All right, you can have it now. It's all you. It's all you. Sir.
I look because at this point, I'm gonna cap it. Because I feel like, there's things that I don't want to, we're having a debate, we're having this conversation, and I feel like the debate is not going in a way where you and I are actually even really hearing what the other person is saying, that you have a certain thought process and you have a certain way of thinking about this whole thing, and you're hearing things that I'm saying and taking them this way or that. And hey, look, I've been working with you for a long time, and I know the type of person you are, and I know how you are trying to stick with certain ideas that you have about whatever, AEW, WWE, and all that. And it's fine, because I know I'm not gonna try to change your opinion or anything. And it's your opinion is your opinion. That's fine. But when I hear something that feels like, well, this isn't consistent with something that I've known from Devin, and I've known you for a long time, then it's like, what are we really talking about here? Like, what else is going on as far as you bringing something like that up with this? Whereas in the past, as I know you, it's like, this doesn't even sound right, but it's okay. As far as I'm concerned, if you want to say, you know what, this is how I feel about AEW, and that's consistently how you're going to be about it, no matter how good of matches they put on, it is what it is. That at the end of the day, what you're saying is because AEW doesn't have a focus on storytelling, no match that they have for you is gonna have that same kind of like hit in a way. And it's just like you are of a certain mindset with storytelling and with the way that WWE does things, with the way they focus on storytelling, that it's like that is your cup of tea. Whereas with AEW, they don't do that. It's more about the wrestling matches, and an individual wrestling match from AEW right now that we saw with Daniel Bryan and Bryan Danielson and MJF. It's just like cool. They did a match. The match, they executed moves. It was, visually entertaining, and that's it. And that's the best. I should probably just go ahead and take that as a win, that you're just saying, hey, it was like visually appealing and cool. Like, okay, that's fine. Because honestly, I feel like there have been other situations with similar matches that it's been different, and I'm just gonna leave it at that so that we don't belabor this too much longer, because there's no solutions, there's no nothing. We're just talking around it all.
I'll say this,
and you cut me off again too, by the way.
You know what? It's a delay. It's a delay, bro.
All right, I'm just saying, like, I just want that,
My fault, bro. It's a delay because it's times I thought you was done talking. That's on me. My fault. I'll just say, because you talk about, how I felt about this match, but I was excited when I talked about the trios match. I gave Chris Jericho and Ricky Starks his due. So I don't see the problem. I've been consistent when I say about the stories, or even certain matches with lack of story that entertain me. It was just the main event just didn't work with me, bro. It is what it is.
So what's your score for the main event? What's your score for the main event? Where'd you see it?
If I was to give it a grading scale, I'd give it a solid A, man. Solid A.
Cool. I mean,
it was silent. Hold on. I was you saying something, bro? Because
no, I wasn't saying anything. But I'm okay. I guess given all that, for you to say a solid A, it's solid like
no A plus.
Okay. All right, I
know A plus, not no extra credit. This ain't like
we're not. It doesn't even have to be that. It's just
you doing all. I'm just saying you was giving all that energy because I used certain words. You was just getting so triggered about what I was saying about how I felt about the match, my personal opinion, because you said it's supposed to be the opinion. It is what it is, man. But in the end, I still felt. I just said it was a passable match. It had some cool wrestling with some cool wrestlers. All right, solid A.
It's cool, man. It's cool. Like stuff like that. I got you. You are really playing with your words in a certain way that it's like you look again. I know you, okay, and there's certain words you don't use that when you start using them here in a certain way, it's like okay. There's a little bit of a like you don't see it as a jab. And that's whatever. But I'm telling you, when you say that, well, I'm gonna give it an A, but it was cool, it was cool. And everything you said about AEW in the past, and then we throw in something like that on a match that, again, you're saying it was an A, but like, will we remember it? It's cool.
It's funny.
It's passable. Like, I don't know. It's just like those things. I thought you were going to give it like a B minus, a C, like saying it's passable. Like I don't know. It's just there's inconsistencies with that really don't. Because
I said it's passable. Passable can mean anything past that, man. It's funny because I.
But if something is great,
something is great, because I see you slowly getting
call it passable. Like that's you. Where that's you. When you. Well, then you need to ask the right questions. You're the one that's you're just assuming. Like you said earlier in this, I'm just going to assume, and maybe that's the wrong thought process. That was for something right? This is a clear example. That was not for this particular. See, this is where you're being funny. You're trying to use anything and everything that I say here to address this particular topic. And that does not work. That does not work. You're just throwing together everything, and that's.
I just said passable. You should have asked like what passable mean. What does passable mean? Does that mean slightly above
passable
average?
Means A.
What does that mean to you?
So passable means A.
Sure, that means
A.
Sure, that means A.
You're not dealing with somebody that's dealing with you for the first time.
I know.
All right. So you saying stuff like this.
That's why I'm like smiling because
I laugh at it because I know Devin's on bullshit. Like I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm sorry.
Bullshit about what? What I'm bullshit about?
Like, come on. When you like something, you don't say it's passable. You watching Dragon Ball Super and you loving the Turner and Power, you're not gonna say, man, that's passable. You know, you're gonna say, oh man, did you see that? That was shit. Oh man, dope. But then for this, it's like, oh, yeah, it was passable. I mean, you know, hey, but it was passable. Like, if you trying to tell me, something that is on that level of being like really good, great, you're gonna say, you know, it's passable. You may not watch it, you may not remember it.
Cody,
you know,
passable like a motherfucker.
Like,
Tribal Chief beat Cody, passable like a motherfucker. Passable.
You're not gonna say? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're joking. That if the Tribal Chief, so you mean to tell me that, and the way you just said that right now, Roman Reigns beating Cody, right? That would be passable. There has not been one time. There has not been one time in the history of the time that we've been talking about Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, where you said that something like that, a win like that for him has been passable. Anytime you talk about the Tribal Chief, everything is glowing. Everything is just amazing with him. You are not going to come up on here the day after WrestleMania and say, that match was passable.
Yeah, I said passable like a motherfucker, bro. That's how I said it. So you should hear the excitement when I said, bro, that was passable. Passable for the Tribal Chief. And you ask me my grade, I'll be like A+ like a motherfucker, bro. Passable. Still pass, right? Right?
Whoa, man. Hey, man. I know you well enough to know when you own some shit.
Ask the right question.
That right there,
that's
right passable. Yeah, that was okay. That was all right. That was just fine. I enjoyed that just enough. That was great. That was passable.
So like you
get the fuck out of here, man.
You should have asked shit right there. That. You should have asked it. So you mean this is me?
I know.
You mean
youngin,
this is just average?
I
would have been
nah.
It's more than passable. It's
God mode. It's passable.
Yeah,
God mode. Passable.
Passable like a motherfucker. Tribal Chief Day. Passable like a motherfucker.
Passable, right.
Passable.
Let's find all the clips where you say Tribal Chief Day is passable. How about that? Let's find all the clips where you say Roman Reigns is passable.
But starting now, I can say that. I can start saying that.
Okay, cool.
Passable.
All right,
you gave me an idea of like passable. Passable could be mean different things. It don't have to be.
It's
average.
a range.
It can be
from
above average.
Yeah,
it can mean
C.
It can be A+. It can mean
A+.
a variety of things.
Sure.
Passable. That's
Good.
Like in school, right? You get the grading, either you pass or not pass, right? You got that grading skill before elementary, pass or not pass. What does pass mean? What are you talking about? Am I average?
Passable.
Pass.
Just good enough to be acceptable. Satisfactory. Fuck out of here, man. Which is I'm gonna use passable for everything. Really? Dictionary
so
definition,
I'm not using the
sir.
correct term then?
Just good enough to be acceptable and satisfactory. Passable.
So I need to change up my verbiage?
Probably. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because passable.
Since we have
when
the
you
correct
say that
terms.
to somebody, that is not saying, yeah, it's great. It's an A+.
But why are you getting mad because I use the word passable about something?
Because you know,
come on, man.
My opinion. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing when you say that.
Yeah. Sometimes I know what you're doing about with the Tribal Chief, but I don't let that bother me. I let you have it though.
Oh no, but see,
me though.
You're funny.
You're
funny.
I'm just doing me. You getting all
you,
passable.
You
What you mean passable?
Stirring it up, trying to get people amped, trying to get people feeling a certain type of way, and you doing it to me. Hey, it's cool, but I'm gonna tell you right now, just like, look, we talked about in the beginning of all this whole thing. Hey, man, we're gonna keep it real. We're gonna keep it 100. And sir, I'm keeping it real with you. when you say you using passable, that is not something that you're using for something that you thought A+, all this, and all of a sudden, yeah, it was great. You know, that was a good match. It was passable. Bruh,
so
no,
say this.
no.
I
know you well enough, sir.
Above average? Is that good enough? It was above average.
That's
the
not
match was above
better.
Average.
That's not better. That's not above average would be like, it's not an A. Okay, saying passable,
you're not
saying
average,
above
though.
average is not an A. No,
still above average. It's not.
You're funny. You're funny. You
right.
are funny. If they say, "Hey, man, you know, like these ratings are passable," you think, "Oh yeah, they're feeling real good about AEW or WWE." Yeah, they were above average. Oh yeah, people are gonna be like, "Oh, that's good. That's good." No, they're gonna say, "What the fuck? Why didn't they say it was excellent?"
I don't know. Well, it depends how you. It just depends how you push it, man. You know, it's it's like how I used to be in sales, and you could do a credit check, and they found out they got a deposit. It's all about how you spend it. You got $150 deposit, or cool, you approve. I just need $150 deposit to get you started. See, passable. Or above average. There we go. Because since you gave me the correct version,
change it up.
Above
just
average.
Good enough to be acceptable.
Above average.
Satisfactory.
You just want me to you just want me to have the same opinion as yours. That's all it was.
This is not an opinion. This is a dictionary definition, sir.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying about the match, the main event. You know, because everybody's saying
no. You know what it is? It's that you can hear and feel the shots when they're unnecessary. That's what it is. It's just an unnecessary shot. That's all. Like just say, hey man, like look.
What did I say is unnecessary shot? Are you getting triggered by the shot? Just let me roll with it. I'm not talking about you, sir.
Look, it's just at a point where it's like, let's just enjoy this shit and let's just not make it about, oh, we got to take a shot at AEW just cuz. Like, damn, these two dudes just went out and put on this great match, and I'm watching it with you. That's the other thing. Yeah. I'm watching it with you, and I know you enjoyed it. But then somewhere inside of you, you just say, I can't.
Oh, Ivan, it's still a B plus. It's still the pay-per-view is still B plus, but I gave that match an A. All right, just to clarify. Still a B plus. Still a B plus. So. Yeah, because come on, let's be real. The lack of women in there, just one women's match, lack of stories, all that plays a part for this pay-per-view grade. So yeah, still standing hard on the D plus. Sorry, is what it is. Oh, you know what, man? You know what? Everybody, you know what, man? Everybody getting in they
Solo.
Yeah, that's to you, Ivan.
Solo.
To you, Nick.
Solo.
To you, Hafeez. Everybody, I just can't have my opinion, huh? I just can't. Look at that. I was wondering how long I can keep this up before somebody starts getting mad or getting triggered because I have a certain opinion. Because I was like, all right, I'm going to talk my shit about what I don't like about AEW, but I'm still going to say about some shit that I do enjoy. But let's see how long I can keep this up before somebody starts getting really mad about an opinion that I have about a certain, about AEW. And here we are. Because I said this match was cool. It was all right. It's a possibility that I could not remember, but I don't know. I'm not saying that.
I'm done. I can't, man. It's just whatever, man. You want to say that's your opinion and that's cool, it's fine. But it's just unnecessary. It's just unnecessary. Like, you could just it's funny you didn't say, well, the earlier matches weren't memorable, but this one is definitely not going to be memorable. And we lost them. Great.
All right, there we go. Whoa. Yeah, my connection is it's all over the place, bro.
Oh man. Jesus.
It's like a delay. I'm thinking you're done talking, you're not. So
yeah, that's wild, man. That's wild. But hey, you know what? It's okay. It's all right. You think enjoy this. I enjoy you thinking you're slick, and I'm here. I'm here, and I'm not running, and I'm not letting you get away with it. So
why are you getting defensive, brother? Why are you
defensive?
So defensive? Yeah, I'm not doing anything.
If anything, that's offensive.
I see what you're doing.
I am going at you, sir. Yeah, that is not defensive. I'm not defending myself. I am going at you.
Cool.
I hear the little jabs and the little nitpicks. And look, when it's warranted, hell, me and you both went and talked about some of the things we didn't like here, and there's stuff we agree. Now, sometimes there's going to be things where I can tell, I'm like, oh, you just jab it. And I got to call it out. Cool. I got to call it out because, no, I'm not letting it pass on something like this what I got you is the fact that I watched it with you. I watched it with you, and I know
what's the grade I gave? What was the grade I gave?
That emotion wasn't passable when you were watching it. You were enjoying it.
But what's the grade? What was the result though? What was the grade that you asked me? What did I give it though? What was the grade I gave not the pay-per-view, but the match, the one that we was debating on?
Yeah. Again, you're not. See, this is what I was talking about. We say like sometimes we're just not really like listening to each other, talking really about like you're. What I'm telling you right now is your grade is consistent with your reactions during the live stream. All right, when we watched it together, that is consistent. But then you throwing in things like the word passable is like, and I know you are a smart individual, sir. You are calculated. Just like you said, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to wait and see how long it's going to take.
Bro. I'm not really smart. C plus student.
I'm going at you. It's okay.
I'm average. I'm average, actually. C plus student. Not really smart.
What? Now you're average. Oh, man. Who's in their feelings now? Who is in their feelings now?
I said I'm a C plus student. I'm average. Because you just saying you're smart. You're trying to say you're smart.
Yes, you are. You're a smart dude. So I'm not trying to hear this.
I'm not. I'm a C plus student. I'm average.
Passable, you know, like A is passable.
It is. It's crazy is that I'm just being all calm. He's like, no, it's the opinion. You shouldn't be feeling like this. You tell I see what you're on. I see what you're on.
You know what? Honestly, in the beginning for me, it was more about like, I'm big up in this match, and I'm not hearing any blasphemy about this matchup. None, right? That's where it started. Now it's gone to a whole nother thing where I just got to basically go at you for the stuff that I'm seeing that's inconsistent with what I saw and what I experienced with you and the stuff you're saying. Those are not jiving together, sir. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. I got to call that out. I'm like, if I see you enjoying something and then you turn around and you try to tell people, you know, it was what? Like, hold on.
But it needs to be some context here. I said my definition of passable because you said your definition of passable is different from how I see my definition of passable. So let's get some context. Let's clarify here now.
Yeah, all right. All right.
But then I changed it up once you got the definition. I was like, oh,
passable.
Exactly. But then I changed it up once you read the definition.
But you even know.
Didn't I change it up?
But here's the thing.
Didn't I change it up? Did I change it up?
Some way. We need to be able to go back and see, because even your delivery, it was like, it's passable. It wasn't like, oh, it's passable. Like an A is not like, yeah, you know, you got an A. You know, an A is like, especially for you, again, consistency. I've worked with you for so long. When you give something an A, you're like, yeah, man, it's a solid A. You know, you feeling that. You know, I'm like, yeah, it was passable. Yeah. That's not, no. I know that's what's stirring me up. Is the fact that
AEW
that's telling me that there's more to it than what you're saying, and it is what it is, man. It's cool. That's cool.
Gotta get them that little different handicap of a grading skill, since they just they're subpar when it comes to storytelling, but wrestling they're above average.
Wrestling, to me, they're elite, and I am living it at that. Right. For me personally. Right. It was not passable for me.
What you mean they're elite?
What you mean they're elite?
What you mean they're elite?
It was an A. Cool. And you know what? You're gonna fuck around and make me make this 100% score on this fucking match. You know, just for stirring me up. But you know, it's okay. What I give the other one, a 98. I think was the highest score that I've given so far.
Give it a 98.
97? No, 97. Okay, no, I'm gonna give this a 98. I'm gonna give it a 98. This was definitely the best match of the night for sure. So yeah.
Man,
this dude. It's okay, y'all. It's okay. This from the dude that puts up 2 weeks in a row of AEW and he thinks I don't know what he's doing. Okay. Okay. The new video, AEW sometimes, but you know, what's the big deal?
What is the big deal, man?
Okay,
you know?
All right. I got
just
you.
Be easy, bro.
I'm just here
chill.
to dig in and go at you. That's it. That's it.
Chill.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about AEW next week. That's what I know. 3 weeks in a row. Best believe that.
All right, let's see how long you keep this up before you start saying
about passable wrestling.
Let's go. All right. I know you said this is passable. This is really passable right here. You be talking about a match or something. I know that's gonna be coming. Let's see how long you keep this morale up. This AEW morale. Oh man.
At least when they give me a banger of a match, I can say it and I can stand on it. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay. It was your opinion. You didn't. It was okay. It was cool. I wish you would have just given it a C. Honestly, I wish you would have.
Give what
reaction. The match. You know, it doesn't do much for you. There's no story. When I said there was no story, I dropped it 10 points automatically off drop.
Cool. That's your opinion. That's what you can do.
I'm just saying.
I don't control you, sir. I don't tell you.
That's cool.
Because how I feel, I want you to feel this way.
That's cool. So what goes into the A? What goes into the A?
The A, it was the wrestling. It was to make Bryan. Actually, the ending had a lot of impact. You made Bryan Danielson tap. Respect, bro.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You made him tap. You know what I'm saying? Daniel Bryan fucked around and he found out. Plain and simple. We found out twice. By the tribal chief.
The rest of it,
got
the
exiled.
build up to it, all these moments in the beginning, that have anything to do with it or no?
No, man, because like I said before, the build up was just the same old. You got Bryan Danielson going through the trials of MJF. It just took me out, and it started exposing more of a downside to MJF promos because of that, because of the lack of story of the same old. With the whole, when he yells, it doesn't, when he yells to you, maybe you can feel something, but now he always yelling in his promos, so I don't, it is what it is, just the same old, bro.
So even when he brought up like his personal stuff, right? And he's telling Daniel, like, you take it all for granted. That's nothing.
No, because I was just, to bring it back to all these multiple weeks of just missing with the story. And then now, like to your point, you said the last 2 weeks, I guess, worked for you. It wasn't enough for me to will me back in like, oh, I'm all about this story right now. So
try to put on your fantasy booking hat. What would it take in a situation like that? Like what would you tell them to do?
Remove the MJF trials. You don't need that.
Yeah, but we're past that. I'm saying the last 2 weeks.
Well, we're past that. Well, when he gave a promo, and I thought we was going to get more of that. So he said a promo. It was like a backstage promo. And he said, you don't want to take it mental, Bryan. And once we go mental, it's a whole another ball game or something like that. Just paraphrasing. And I was looking for more of that, but maybe he was just talking about mental in the ring. But when he said that, we're talking about MJF. So I just thought maybe we was going to get more of a outside, like, I don't know, some backstage segments to show what he's talking about mental to really stir up Bryan Danielson. But we didn't. It was just, he tried to give the whole little sob story. I wasn't really feeling it. And then, and that was it, man. Just the couple of weeks of the last couple of weeks to the build-up to their match. That was it. It worked for you, but for me, it wasn't enough, man. I needed more.
All right, man. I mean, I feel like there's storytelling is there, and it is what it is. You are. I'm gonna keep bringing this up. I'm gonna keep bringing it up, and I hate to even think because I'm critical of AEW as well. I have my own critique of things that they do, the stories that they do, and all that. But I feel like I'm a very objective person when it comes to all this, and it's like, hey, if you give me something that, all right, I can see there's an attempt there, is trying there, you're telling a story here, cool, or your match, damn man, this is cool, So that's me, but it is what it is. All right. So with all of that, if I actually take the scores, let's see.
Yeah, what's your score? What's your average? The law of averages say. We're all waiting to find out. We got people in the chat. Thank you for people in the chat who's been, watching this debate back and forth over almost 3 hours of just AEW. Just come on,
great,
come on, and we're great. And I can guarantee we're not getting to the topics which suck. We're just gonna talk about WWE. WWE.
Not today.
That's right. We talked about a little bit. We already talked about a little bit of it. We sprinkled it in, so it's good enough. A little seasoning, just a little seasoning. Flavored it up a little bit.
Oh my god!
Make sure y'all smash that like button for both our channels, the Bloodline Entertainment Network and Clutch Wrestling Podcast.
It's pretty consistent with what I said I said a B plus, or did I say a solid B? I'm trying to remember if that's what I said.
So I actually got a higher grade than you after you getting just irritated by me.
Oh, because your grade is just you're funny. You're funny with what you say.
All of this, all of that. My grade is higher than yours.
It's not about the grade. It's about what you're saying.
It's about the results. It's about the results. That's what it's about, the results.
You're funny, but it's okay. That's all right. We're not going down this road for the rest, because we'll be here all night if you want me to dissect that.
Right.
Oh my God, your grade is good. Yeah, and I also didn't disrespect them while I was giving the grade. So,
cool. You do
I can give them a lower grade and just be respectful. But,
cool.
85, bro. B plus. Cool.
Nah, they ain't no B plus. B plus is like what is it, 89%? That's a B plus.
Well, there's different ranges. Passable could be anything. You know what? The grade is passable.
Go and Google it. Go and Google it then. Since you want to Google me, you want to get the definition. Let's get this right then. Go and
Google what am I
B plus right.
You know what?
You know what, man? After all this talk, after you getting on me, man, I'm just gonna do this just cause. There we go. Thank you, Tribal Chief. What up, bro? What up?
Oh my God.
What's going on? Yeah, look into your Tribal Chief eyes. Look into your Tribal Chief eyes. It's right there in front of you. Look into your Tribal Chief eyes. Right there.
This man, right there. Just cause it's Tribal Chief Day. Wow. Well, look, we'll be talking about WWE next week. We'll be talking about AEW next week for damn sure now, because now I'm on a mission. Now it's a wrap. So with all that said,
I don't know.
Oh no, it's happening. This is happening. Sure. You better get used to it. AEW is here to stay. Ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for this AEW Revolution recap. But before we get done, Devin, you know what time it is. Do the thing. Tell the people where they can catch us. Go.
I'm gonna do the damn thing. I'm gonna do the thing.
Do the thing.
I'm gonna do the thing. Shout out to the chat. You know what I'm saying? Staying with us for almost 3 hours of AEW talk, especially that last main event debate that we had. I'm sure we had a lot of engagement with that, so we appreciate that. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button as well for the Bloodline Entertainment and the Park Street Wrestling Podcast. And of course, we also got tomorrow, don't forget, we got Roto Slappers with Streets and TK going there, fantasy football. Hey, and check out TK's breaking news trending on the Bloodline Entertainment Network channel right now about the Chicago Bears traded their first #1 pick. And what did they get? They got some good stuff. But you gotta look at that video. Look at TK. It's going down right now. And of course, we got the New Japan Weekly Show with Ivan, Bakley, and TK. And we got the TK, follow up by the TK show, by the Tim King show, by TK, the banger of podcasting, and all those lovely podcasts you can find that's part of the Bloodline Network, bloodlinenetwork.com. No abbreviation necessary for this, all right? And you can also follow us, Clark Street, the audio, the visual, and of course our merch, clarkstreetwrestling.com. All right, ST for the abbreviation. And like I said, we got our merch. We got merch right here. Get your Tribal Chief of Podcasting shirt, or get your merch right here. You got the Clark Street Wrestling shirt right here, or if you're out there in the summertime, if it's summertime in Australia or down in the Southern Hemisphere in Niger or Brazil, get your Clark Street Wrestling beach towels. Oh, well, I guess we got a delay. We got a delay? We got a delay?
So, I don't know.
I think we got a delay. Well, we're going to be off for this one. You supposed to say the beach towel.
I mean,
well,
beach towels.
Yeah. The stream is a little off
It's
the rails.
a different kind of night. The energy's a little different tonight, but that's okay. That's okay. Coming at this man. Coming at this man. Coming at that dude over there on the other side. Yeah. It's on. It's on.
Look at this guy right here. That guy right there. Look at him. He was just. But anyway, all right.
Talking about somebody in his feelings. My opinion. It's my opinion.
It is my opinion.
Passable. It's just passable.
Yes. See, that's the beauty about opinions. It's their own. All right. Learn about this. So learn from us. This was a teachable moment. All right. Don't get all your feelings about opinion. Let them have it because it's theirs. Okay.
Understand.
We're talking about
that even the closest people to you, your brothers, your friends, they gonna get slick. They gonna try to get slick. That's what this is. Teachable moment. That's right. That's right. But it's okay.
All right. Get your beach towels, all right? Get your ass off that hot ass sand. Get your country wrestling beach towels. If you're up here in the Midwest, it's cold. It's 34 degrees. All right, get your country wrestling hoodies. Stay warm. Stay toasty. Okay, I wasn't know if you was prepared. I was gonna do it anyway. All right, clarkstreetwrestling.com/store for your pleasure. It is decided on Tribal Chief Day. Got the titles right next to me.
On AEW Revolution Day. Yes. Yes.
Okay, you can have that.
Iron Man match, Bryan Danielson, MJF Day. Let's go. Banger of a match day.
Look at that.
Let's go.
It's funny you gotta say all of that
for the
now.
show.
Look at that.
Devin, that guy over there. Catch up that guy. My opinion.
Yep. My opinion.
Passable. Hey, passable.
Got a lot of clip-worthy moments here.
Woo-wee. Let's go. Peace.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to the Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. All right. Hey, circle debate. Debate coming soon.
Shout out
so
to
I handled that
see you in
debate.
the comments,
I got
Ivan.
mind tricks. He said I'm using mind tricks. Apparently, I got mind control. I got mind powers. Look, you saw what happened. You saw what happened. You want to deal with that? You want to deal with me? You want to deal with me? But when it comes to debate, you better be ready. You better not get in your feelings. Don't do it. Once I smell blood.
Look at that. See? Troll. It's okay.
Shout out to Top Wrestling Talk. Shout out to our Shira brother. Happy birthday again, brother. Shout out to Dime, South Philly Psycho. We're going to do that field bump. All right, happy birthday one more time for him. And yes, we got the debate to Bruce. We're going to debate. Yes.
Bruce, you know what? I got it. I'm going to take the debate. MJF, Roman Reigns. Who is the most complete? Most complete wrestler today?
I win already. Look at that.
Let's go.
Bruce, you need help?
Go. He's
Bruce,
going to be out in his feelings after I'm done with him.
Bruce,
Because you know I come prepared. You know the research I do, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, Bruce, I got you. I got you. You just tune in. I just want you to see what I do to this man. Tribal
Do
Chief.
to me.
Okay.
I didn't do anything. You saw how you was.
Okay.
I was just talking real melatonin. I was like,
Okay.
what do you mean? Passable. All right. I just got to use certain words.
Man, acting like you don't know the definition of passable.
Look at
That's
him.
okay.
Look at that.
And he thinks he gonna beat me. The definition of passable, this man wants to
I'm
spit
just
that
seeing
to
how
me,
you got
and
all
he
wrong.
gonna beat me in the debate.
What you mean passable?
Okay. I break facts. I break definitions.
Go ahead.
I got
Go
you.
ahead. You see this?
Debate coming soon.
See this?
Yes.
This guy right here, my brother. He
Yes.
takes me down. See?
Yes.
I guess the debate coming soon. Brother versus brother. Tribal Chief versus Messiah. It's finally gonna happen now. The Tribal Chief versus Messiah.
Let's
But the Tribal
go.
Chief will stand tall. I don't take it. Not from Messiah.
Yeah. Just like Roman Reigns didn't take it out when he teamed up with Sami Zayn. Fuck out of here. Taking that in.
Look at him. Okay, sure. All right. I'm gonna come
He's just gonna be in denial.
I'm gonna come with my very strong opinions now. Okay?
Yeah, I can do that too. Yeah, my opinions. I'm gonna stick to my opinions too. You can't tell me nothing.
You do that.
You
I
can't
want you
tell
to.
me nothing.
What
You can't convince me, sir. No. Passable. My opinion is that passable means anything. Okay.
Sure.
Actually, sir.
Hey man,
the
it's not my
definition,
problem.
If you pull up the definition of passable,
right
it's actually.
Instead of getting mad.
Look at him take that sip.
Instead of getting riled up, you should like, hold on, what you mean by passable? Instead of just waiting until you was done being mad, and then you was like, oh, okay. Good show though. All right, we catch y'all next week. WWE talk. All right, especially with the tribe.
And AEW. Yes, sir.
Sure. Yeah, small.
The reasons. Those feelings.
Woo! All right, we're done. We're done with this side off. All right. Remember that. Note it down. Brother versus brother. Tribal Chief versus Messiah is finally going down because he wants to smoke. He couldn't handle it. All right. He wants the debate now. I didn't have to do anything. It's supposed to be a debate between me and Bruce. Now.
It's on now.
I got it. I guess, Bruce, you got a handicap. You needed help, bro. It is what it is, but I'll take it. That's on the Tribal Chief. Everybody wants me. Everybody wants to smoke from me. My opinions matter to them. My opinions matter to them. Yeah. All right, we're done. It is decided. Let's go. All right, next week, Tribal Chief Day again. All right, massive graphic of the Tribal Chief. You probably won't even see my face on there. It'll be massive. So massive.
Roman Reigns is passable, y'all.
Passable like a motherfucker. Yeah, you heard me. You heard me.
Roman Reigns is satisfactory. Yes, sir. The Tribal Chief is satisfactory.
But it doesn't bother me.
He's taking an L. That's
like
all I know.
bothered him.
Oh,
I
man.
said
Go ahead,
passable.
sign out. Sign out.
I'm just chilling.
Sign
Sip
out.
my beer. I'm just chilling. We still got 3 people in the chat. We've been trying to close with it.
I can't wait. You're gonna win a debate calling the Tribal Chief satisfactory. Okay. Good Lord.
Makes it too easy for me, brother. But it will be an honor. It will be a privilege to take you on again. I will show strong dialogue, strong opinions for you, sir. So hopefully you can take it. It's not personal. It's just my opinion. All right. It's not personal, sir. It's just my opinion.
I can't.
We are done.
Passable.
Bye.